Hey, and we're live. Trying something a little bit different here. Somehow I am the first one here, which might be a good thing, might not be. Anyways, welcome to the Melanated Council, y'all. It is another beautiful Tuesday night, which means that we are going live right at this moment, 9 p.m. Eastern, every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific. Do the math, and you already know what time it is in your own time zone. Thank you all who've been joining us each and every week. Um, yeah, and we love to keep seeing you guys come back because without a stream, what are we? Without an audience, I mean, what is the stream? So, my beautiful co-hosts Ron and Elle will be joining shortly, but in the moment, just wanted to kick things off and ask, how's everyone's day going? How's everyone's week and weekend been going? Before we dive into too crazy of a topic, we always like to just kind of recap, refresh, figure out what's been happening since the last stream, and sort of, just be family, be friends, and kick it for a little bit. Especially when these topics get very, not even heated, but just very passionate. It's always nice to kind of start things off on a nice, smooth note. Um, as for me, just to talk a little bit about myself and what's been going on. Still looking for a car, per usual. Um, and hopefully I will find one. I said before the end of the month. That's very likely not going to happen because we're already on September 27th, but it's fine. Um, but hopefully within the next few weeks, since I already have made some progress on getting approved for auto loans, the main thing right now is um, to actually buy the dang thing, get the car, bring it to the people, and then make it all happen. Um, I'm just gonna double check something real quick, make sure. Good. Making sure that the live link's working for all of us. Um, but any case, hey, it's D. Look at that. I forgot we have a whole Twitch. Not that I forgot we have Twitch, but I don't use Twitch as much personally, so it's great to see people on there. How's it going, D? Great to see you. Definitely got to catch up soon. It's an actual friend of a good friend of mine. Um, yes, thank you, Stream Elements. We are indeed streaming. For those of you on Twitch, it actually helps us a lot for y'all to be streaming because for y'all to watch us on there because Twitch gets certain perks. And we won't give away all those perks, like in terms of we won't spoil it all, but there are definitely nice perks that come if you're a consistent Twitch user. If you stream enough hours, which we pretty much do because of how often we go live. Um, we might need to stream. I think we stream enough hours in a month, but you have to stream a certain number per day or per week, a certain number of days. I think within the 30-day period, you have to do some other things. And so having more Twitch viewers helps us, and we can maybe do some cool perks, which would be awesome. But in any case, we're just having fun. So it's not like super, super serious. I wish this lighting was better. That's the only thing I really don't like about this. In any case, finally made the live. No, I appreciate it, honestly. Whether you're watching on a replay, whether you watch live, we all appreciate it because people get to see what we're saying, and you know, it's always a cool thing. Oh, but before I go too much deeply into it, we have a very special guest. Actually, for those of you who watch the stream pretty regularly, this is probably not someone you would recognize because this is not one of my co-hosts. Rather, it's a personal good friend of mine. Let's see if I can do a Ron introduction, the way Ron always does these introductions. Good friend of mine. We didn't go to school together, but we had a lot of good mutual friends in the same organization. Passionate about music, just a great person overall, always very positive. Give it up for my good friend Avery Brown.
Hey, Barry. I said I was gonna figure out how this thing works, but what's up, bro?
What's up, man? It's been so long. I feel like it's been probably 3 years, actually.
No, it has been seriously. How you been?
Honestly, I've been good. I can't complain too much. just trying to like figure everything out. Like I was just saying on stream, getting this dang car is like one of my utmost priorities because I didn't like talk too much publicly about it. I definitely didn't post it on like my Instagram or Facebook, but I had totaled my car, or my car got totaled.
Man.
I didn't hit another vehicle. I actually hit like, it was the dumbest thing. I hit a median, like the divider, when I was trying to make a left turn, and I accidentally bumped over it. Airbag went off. I wasn't hurt at all, like just a little minor bruise on my wrist, I think, from the gas from the airbag, but no actual serious injury. So that was March, like right after my birthday, literally like that weekend. And so it was like terrible timing. And I haven't had a car since then. So I've had rental cars through my insurance. I've done some Uber and Lyft, but vast majority of the time I was using rental cars. Maybe sometimes would go a week or two without it just to kind of work from home and survive. And it's obviously just not a great situation in terms of the money, because paying for rentals, it's not as committal as like an actual loan, but it'll add up to be more money than an actual car would be over the long term. So I've been trying to work on that. And besides that, I would just say the rest of things are just, life, work hasn't been bad. It's been a bit slow and I've not been super engaged all the time, but like it's definitely been a lot better than it was earlier last year. I'd say since like last summer, work has been on an upward trend, which culminated in getting a raise. Or end of July, and that was like the first raise I had since working for my company, which was not great, but at least better late than never. And so I'm hoping that, but in addition to that mid-cycle raise that we did in the summer, which is more rare to get, like it's not the norm. Normally they try to do the raises like end of year, beginning of the next year. That's like kind of the main time, but mid-cycle is like a second opportunity. And so I'm hoping that the end of this year will be another boost, just because it's just it's necessary to make sure that your value is being seen and it's being reflected in the pay, especially for the work that we do.
That's true. And the value is always important in terms of the compensation and matching that as well. First of all, congrats, man. That's what's up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And what's up, Gil? Good to see you, man.
Hey.
Also, I'm definitely gonna make sure I get to you, Avery, in terms of how you've been and everything. But just to make sure, like the backstage is looking, it's we're getting somewhere. We're gonna have to give it up for the man himself, who always is the one holding this down, almost without fail. He'll be there before we're there. He'll make sure things are working on the back end. He's out here holding it down with his family. He's on tenor. He'll definitely explain more about what that means. I already have an idea, but give it up for a great co-host, Ron, the unstoppable, the complete unstoppable, even more than Kim Possible. Ron.
Hey, let's go.
Hey.
Let's go. I know right now my internet connection is super spotty. I'm super lagging hard.
Yeah, that's okay. You're still here, man. That's what counts.
There we go. Yeah, I'm lagging hard. But I know. I was gonna say too. It doesn't help that right now we got a rainstorm coming through. So it's like, we're going to try to ride this bad boy out. But if I have to back out, reset my connection and everything else, I got to do what I got to do.
Do what you got to do. Are you in Florida? Or?
Oh, nope. They can keep all that weird craziness down there. I'm good. I visited once. I'm like, it was nice. Nope.
You're like, that's a no. That's a hard no.
That's a hard no. Well, hold on. I'll take that back. Because I know a few people that live down in Florida, it'd probably be an easy yes. Like Elm down there. I think Gil's down there. There's a handful of others that I know that's down there. So it's like, for them, yeah. I'll go down and visit for them. Other than that, nope. I'm keeping my happy butt back in Michigan. I'm good. I'm straight.
I'm gonna have to make.
Sorry, my bad. What you said?
No, I was saying I'm gonna have to make my way down there. I haven't been outside of Disneyland.
Oh man,
I feel that. I think I've been there once. One was just like in passing. Like we were actually enough. I was coming from RPI. It was actually my first NSBE convention. I was going to Kansas City in 2017, and our chapter, I guess, out of like just the most cheap, cost-effective flight, we flew from Albany, New York, all the way to Orlando. That was my first time ever in Florida. And then after we had our layover in Orlando, we flew to Kansas City, Missouri. If you look at a map, you can tell that's not really the straight way of going from the Northeast to like the Midwest, but you know, it was what it was.
You did the V shape.
Yeah, we did a V shape. The flight back was more direct. I think we flew from Kansas City to O'Hare and Chicago. If not O'Hare, it was the other one, Midway, and then from there we flew to Albany. But no, like the only other time I went to Florida was for another conference. It was TAPIA Conference for Diversity and Computing. So that's more specific for computer science. But that's a conference I went to well before I was involved in NSBE. Like I've been to TAPIA since 2014. I never was in NSBE until 2017, and so TAPIA was something I used to be a part of originally, like early in my undergrad when I was at UMBC and outside Baltimore. And so I remember I went to TAPIA in 2018. So that was actually my last TAPIA conference. That was my last year at RPI in grad school. I went to Orlando, so I was actually there for like an actual time instead of just a layover. But outside of the hotel, we went to like a club somewhere on Saturday night. But like I didn't really go out much to actually see anything in Orlando. I don't think I went out to eat really. Some people went to like a local kind of like, not even like a bar really, but it was kind of just like a local area where there was like a restaurant that had like drinks. But I got there after people really left, so I mostly just walked around. But Florida is definitely calling my name. I wanted to go to Miami Carnival, which was not looking very likely this year. Not looking very strong. I'm probably going to have to make that trip next year. Things are a little more stable because I've just been in the middle of so many things. We were moving and we were not moving, and I can get my car. I think next year will just be more stable in terms of let me make an actual trip to go to Miami. It will be my first time in Miami. I've never been to Tampa either. I've never been to any city outside of Orlando, and I've only been to Orlando once. So, you know, it's a nice area. Like we said, you know, we have a few of the people here who are from there. Our lovely co-host who will be on later, the last co-host, she's based out there, and then other people I know as well. So, you know, it's a state. It's got what it's got going for it. Weather is, I would say, beautiful, but maybe not this time of the year. It's just warmer, I should say. It's not like California, but it's at least not. It's not what the Northeast is doing. I saw a lot of memes that were like the weather in New England went from one said New York, but it was like the weather went from 90 to 55, like I saw a state trooper, and I was like, "Yep."
I love it.
That's insanity, but it's so funny because it's so funny, except it's not because it's true. Boston did the same thing. And yeah, what's up, Rocky? We got a West Coast representation over there.
Hey, West Coast.
I ain't gonna throw it up.
Okay. So I guess since I started the intros, I might as well finish them, right?
Yep.
We have a very special someone. I can hear the song in my head, the true dancing queen. Gonna talk about the rhythm and everything that it means to her. Full of wit, full of unapologetic, just passionate speech, always lots of humor, always lots of just great insights. Super great to have her here and complete the trio. In this case, the quartet, just like a true like a true band, like a true like barbershop musical ensemble. Here comes Dancing Queen L.
Woo!
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for that intro, Toby.
Listen.
Yes, thank you. I tried.
Yeah, no. I liked it.
And I have to formally introduce my friend Avery to y'all. Good friend of mine, dating back to, we formally met like in 2018, but we were already sort of virtually acquainted in 2017. And, you know, just a great guy. We're definitely gonna have to find a time to link up for real.
No, seriously, I gotta make my way towards you. I said definitely early next year. Nice to meet both of you.
Hi.
Ew. It's good to have you on. I'll put.
Hey, appreciate you guys having me on and just joining the vibe.
No, we're happy to have you here. It's always great to have a guest and to meet some more of Toby's friends. Toby's a popular guy.
To say the least.
Yeah. So we were mostly just going around, kind of just talking a little bit, you know, the regular roundtable type stuff. I pretty much said, I didn't say as much of everything I did this past weekend. I kind of just talked more generally about looking for cars and stuff. But the only other stuff was I went to like an EDM dance concert with a friend who I also hadn't seen in 3 years. Also hadn't seen since like the Nesby Detroit convention, which is the last time I saw you too, Avery. So this friend of mine, I knew her from this region in the Northeast, based out in like New England. And so she came to Boston for this EDM concert. The guy was like South Asian, but like, you know, he kind of has a diverse influence. The artist named Sick Ick apparently has some pretty popular remixes of songs that have gone viral on TikTok, but I never would have known who this person was. I've just heard like the mixes. So in any case, that was Saturday, and the rest of the weekend was just random other stuff. So that was basically me. So anyone else who wants to go into how things are going, hopefully you're surviving hurricane season. And I guess that's really to you.
Okay, I was about to say, it's like, I'd assume so, but if Avery was in Florida, that would have been kind of cool.
Well, no, and I'm actually in Jersey. I'm right across the river from New York City.
Okay. Where is that? Oh man, I can't think of the name of the place, but like I used to work for a company and their headquarters was like in New Jersey, just literally right across the river between them and New York. I can't remember the name of the town. Anyways, that's not important. I was gonna try to impress you with my New Jersey knowledge.
It's all love. It's all love.
Yeah, my geography. But yeah, the hurricane. I thought it was supposed to come tonight, but it looks like it's actually coming sometime tomorrow, like where it's going to actually hit landfall, I think. I mean, when it's going like 12 miles an hour and it, you know, zigzags and does whatever, it's kind of hard to figure out when it's going to actually hit landfall. But we've been getting, you know, the feeder bands, you know, just kind of like the outskirts of the hurricane, which has just been a lot of like rain and wind on and off. It's annoying. Fortunately, like where I live, I'm not gonna get like a direct hit at all. Like I'm not in the, you know, the cone of concern or anything. But you still feel the effects, even though you're pretty much in the clear, so to speak, you know, because like these storms are huge. But yeah, like I know that a lot of Floridians like to joke around about, you know, hurricanes, and depending on like where it's going to hit and how strong it is, like sometimes they're not anything to joke about. Like they can do some serious damage, and it's not necessarily like during the storm, it's mainly after the storm. That's when most of the effects take place, like, you know, like how the flooding is going to affect, like, you know, like properties or like, you know, like foliage damage, how like, you'll see like a lot of trees down, which is interesting because sometimes it's like, really, I didn't even feel that much wind. Like, you're really gonna tell me that these massive trees fell down? Like, it almost seems comical, like somebody just went out there and just pushed these trees down. but it's like because of like so much rain being soaked and the wind constantly pushing these trees, it's like that's what's like bringing them down. Because I'm kind of remembering Hurricane Irma. Sorry if I'm all over the place, but if you remember Hurricane Irma, it was that giant storm back in, I think it was
it 17 maybe?
Yeah, I think it was 2017. And it was like pretty much the size of the state. And yeah. And it almost had a vendetta for Florida because it literally started from the bottom of the state and just went up the entire state, like in the center. So like no one in the state couldn't, like everyone got hit by this hurricane.
No one was safe at all.
No. Like maybe the very tip of the panhandle, but I don't even think so because of just how massive it was insane. And like the next day, because the hurricane took like the entire fucking day to pass because it was just massive. It took like a full 24 hours. Like, and then you go outside and you have to see like the damage. And there was just trees everywhere. Like there were parts of my neighborhood that they just blocked off for a while because they had to take care of the trees and, like make it safe to pass. Fortunately, I didn't lose power. Literally, me and my sister did not lose power, but everyone I know lost power. Every single person lost power. So I felt special. But
there you go.
There you go.
So, I mean, but yeah, no, it was just like the utter chaos. Like I had to go to work, I think. Was it like the next day or like two days after or so? Like it was, and like nobody really did anything because like of course not. But it was crazy. Like it was funny seeing some of my coworkers because you can tell like everyone was just drained and just like because they were like, yo, I haven't taken a shower because there's no power and like you don't get any hot water. And it's like people were just like they were just frazzled. Like, and people like in South Florida, they're kind of, I don't want to say uppity, but they care about their appearance a lot. So if you like can't properly like groom yourself because you have no electricity, like everyone was just going crazy. People were like, do you have power? Can I come over and take a shower? Can I do this? Like, I just need it. But yeah, no, it's pretty insane. But fortunately, like the state has gotten better at restoring power quickly. Because when I was here for Hurricane Wilma back in 2005, I mean, I've been in Florida my whole life, so I've been through all the hurricanes. So Hurricane Wilma back in 2005, I doubt that. I mean, that probably made news, but we didn't have like social media back then, so at least not to the scale that we do now. But we lost power for 2 weeks. I can't remember what category it was. I think it was like a category 2. But like we lost power for 2 weeks, 15 days to be exact. Like we didn't go to school for like 2 weeks. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah, but you don't really hear about people losing power for like that long anymore. The most you'll probably hear is like 3 days. And I remember like on Tinder and like dating apps, there were like a ton of guys from out of town because they worked on power lines. They're like, yeah, I'm here from Atlanta. I'm here from like Louisiana. I'm here from, like just nearby states because like they had to come and help out and restore power when it was Irma. So like that was really interesting. So like I don't have as much worry as I did back in 2005, and but yeah, no, hurricanes they can be serious, especially with like the tornadoes that they can cause, and people's roofs being flown off. But yeah, but yeah, they're
You
interesting.
should have made your place like the hotel in charge. Like, hey, if you need a shower, it costs this amount.
I mean, I jokingly put on Twitter saying like, God, what did I say? I said, like if you live somewhere that usually loses power, or it usually loses energy, you can come over and stay at my place. I don't really like. I never lose energy, nor does my home.
Okay, at least for you.
Yeah, I was like, hey, if you,
Oh,
I got some energy to spare.
Be very careful with that one.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Would it be possible to run the power underground? Would that stop all power interruptions? Some areas do have underground power. Like my area has underground electricity, and so usually those places, and so does my sister. My sister's place as well has underground electricity. So like that helps a lot. Like there are still instances of places where like when it's underground, like they could still like lose power or like get like like of course like anything can happen, but when the power is underground, it's usually it prevents a lot of power interruptions. I'm also, I believe, on the same grid as like a police station and also like the city hall, so that kind of helps too. Usually, if you live near a school or like a police station or like a fire station or something, either you don't really lose power or you don't lose it for very long. But it would be ideal if they can run electricity underground. I don't know why they don't do it everywhere or can't. It's probably because we're like, I don't know, at the same level of sea level or something. Like I don't know if we're below sea level or above sea. Like I should know this. That's bad of me, but like, yeah, like there's not too much underneath us until we like hit the sea. So a lot of like that's why we don't have basements. It wasn't until when I went to college in Tallahassee, I learned about let me meet him. I learned about like basements and stuff because Tallahassee, like they're just at a lot higher of a level, even though like it's still Florida. It's like North Florida. So
it's like the northern you go in Florida, you have like the cities and towns, I guess, at like a higher elevation.
Yeah. So I remember like I had like a class, like a psychology class in like this building. And I go to the class or whatever. And when I'm leaving, I leave out a different exit. And I was like, wait a second, how did I do that? How was I outside? I enter a building and I'm on the second floor. And then I could go outside again and I'm on the first floor in another like at another entrance. Like this is weird. Like it just I was like, how did I enter a building and then you look at like the elevator and you're already on the second floor? It just threw me off. It's like I was outside.
You're
I was
like
outside
a
the first
sci-fi
floor.
novel.
Yeah. It's like nothing. Like it's not adding up. I was outside. I came inside. I'm on the second floor. Yeah. But yeah, that's me, and that's catching up with me. So far, so good. I'll keep you all posted if I hear any more updates on the hurricane. But yeah. Ron, did you Yeah, let us know how your
Oh
how's
boy.
everything.
Okay. It's cold in Michigan. It's
Oh
cold.
no.
Yes, it is cold and it's raining. The last 3 days, I should say, it's been cold, wet, and rainy, and it sucks. And
Mm.
even yesterday, we were, watching the weather, and a bunch of the parents like, hey, coach, you know, are we having practice? It's like, as long as it's not thunderstorming and there's no lightning in the area, yes, we're having practice. Dress warm. Dress warm. And even then, yesterday, the kid's like, so, got a question for you, coach. Like, yeah, shoot. It's like, so, will we ever play in the rain? Yes, we will. There's been times I've played football in the snow. It was cold. And when you tackle somebody, it hurts. For anybody who's played football in the snow, you hit somebody, it hurts. You get hit by
Yikes.
somebody, it hurts.
I imagine.
Welcome to playing football in Michigan. It hurts. It's
God,
so. So I talked like, and even today I told like, listen, dress warm. Like tomorrow, the weather it's not going to be the world's greatest. It's not. Dress warm. If you have to buy gloves because the next 3 games that we got, it's going to be cold. If you want to wear gloves, buy gloves. Wear gloves because it's going to get cold. And even then, my quarterback, he was like, "What kind of gloves can I wear?" And everything else. One of the other dads said, "Man, just buy you a hand warmer. You know, buy your hand warmer and put your hands in there. Wear long sleeve, put your hands in the hand warmer. You don't necessarily need gloves because you're the quarterback. You have to feel for the ball." And they're like, yeah, like you go get one that's like a hunting style and put it around your waist, and boom, there you go. Keep your hands in there, you're good. And so the team's like, yeah, just get a hand warmer, you'll be all right. And everybody else like, well, what kind of gloves can I get? And just everything, like, just get something that's going to keep your hands warm, and you can still be able to tackle somebody or block somebody or catch the football, whatever the case may be, because I get it. It's going to be cold. I mean, I see your point. I see your point. It's just, again, for the group of kids that I got coaching them, a lot of them is their first time playing. So it's like they're not used to playing football this organized, period. They're not. And even then, when it comes to the thought of it's okay to tackle somebody, it's still not clicking just yet. But, they've been improving. So I can't get mad at that. They've been improving. And I think this game, we got a good feeling that we may win this game. So it's like, okay, cool. We're playing one of the better teams in our league, so far. So it's like, okay, as long as everybody does their job, as long as everybody knows what they're doing, and as long as everybody goes out and have fun, let's do it. Because at the end of the day, that's what it matters the most. And even the directors, they come up and talk to me every now and then, like, hey, you're doing a good job. The kids are having fun. And that's all that matters, whether win or lose, because what we want them to do is not only just to come back next year, but to keep coming back up until they get into high school, because now they understand it. Now they got a basic idea of how the game is played. They understand what their position is on the field and what they need to do in order for them to win the games. And even then, talking to my brother, he was like, how come we don't do this? How come we do that? It's like, well, for one, these are third and fourth graders. And like I said before, a lot of the kids on the team, this is their first year playing football. Their first year playing football, let alone contact football. Okay. I had one guy, he's a second grader, and his parents, like, rather than throw him in flag football, they're like, nope, we're going to put you tackle right off the gate. And he's like, okay, cool, great, no big deal. He loves it. He loves it. And so he was like, I want to come back next year and still be with the same, pretty much be on the same team because I'm used to a lot of the people that I play with and we play well together. And even then, if we get some new guys who wanted to play football, we could at least help them by teaching them what we've learned while we played. I'm like, cool, that works for me. That works for me. So it's just a fun experience watching them play, watching them, get hyped because we scored one touchdown in this, that, and the third, and seeing like, okay, we can actually do this. It's like, yes, I've been telling y'all this since like week one. Like, you guys can do this. It's just you have to want to do it. I can't do it for you. The other coaches can't do it for you. Your parents can't do it for you. No, you guys have to do this. You guys have to want to win. You guys have to want to make the other team not score a touchdown, not getting the yards. You have to do it. We can't do it for you. We can coach you. We can teach you everything that we know, everything that we've been through, and tell you, correct you, what you've done wrong, what you need to do to work on to get better. And at the end of the day, if you do not apply those same skills, principles, techniques that we've taught you throughout the week in the game, it's not going to help you. And yes, you're going to lose. And like I told him today, I was like, listen, I'm done yelling. Like, I have no time for yelling. If you want to listen, okay, just know when game time comes and you figuring out why you are losing, it's because you weren't listening during practice. Again, like I said before the first game, if you practice sloppy, you're going to play sloppy. And if you play sloppy, you're going to lose. Simple as that. If you practice well, you're going to play well. And if you play well, yes, you have the opportunity to win. And even if you lose, at least you lost to a good team because you played well at the end of the day, the very end of the day. And so they're like, okay, we get it. We get it. And so, again, last week, again, we were playing like it was our first game all over again. But the second half came back around. And again, I got in their butts. I'm like, listen, I don't know what's going on with y'all this first half.
Fire in them.
But the second half, y'all need to do better. Y'all got to do better. Because if you don't, we're going to lose this game. It's plain and simple. Like, you guys know your jobs. We taught you guys what you need to do. You know the plays. You know what you're supposed to be doing. All thing you need to do is execute. That's it. Execute. If we tell you to run this play, if we tell you need to do this, we expect you to do it. But at the same time, we can't do it for you. Right, Rocky? Right?
No,
But
you're safe.
even still,
I've seen this.
what he said was true, because in the second half, that's when we scored our first touchdown. It was cool. It was great. Like, we did it. But we shut out the opposing team. So the opposing team wasn't even, they were still making plays in this, that, and the third, but they weren't scoring anymore. So, like, okay, cool. We shut them down finally on defense. That's great. But offense, like, come on, like, offensive line, you guys have to hold your block at least for 3 seconds so the quarterback can get that ball out of his hands and into somebody else's who can make a play. That's it. That's all I'm asking you guys to do. And so today, they've done better. They've been holding their blocks a lot better. The running backs, they've been making holes so the person who's running the ball can at least score a touchdown, if not get a first down. And even then, the offensive line, they held this long enough to the point where the quarterback was able to find an open man, throwing the ball, the guy caught it. So, like, cool, great. Like, let's continue this tomorrow. I'm going to do extra work on Friday, so there's no excuse. If you want to get better, and especially before game time, I'm here to work with you one-on-one if need be. So, we're going to be playing one of the better teams Saturday. And even then, one of the parents, like, yeah, I used to play for the team that you're going against on Saturday, and they're pretty much a really, really good team. really good team. I'm like, I know this much. Like I know this much.
Oh,
Hey, Beach,
what's going on?
what's going on? And so I was like, I know that much because like I know the team next week. They are a really good team as well. So I was like, hey, we got to buckle down. We got to do, and go out there, of course, have fun, but at the same time, go out there and win. At the end of the day, go out and win, have fun. And if we lose, at least lose, have fun. I mean, you're not far from the truth, but you know. Not far from the truth. I did say those words, but minus the boy, and to heed my warning. But it was like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Y'all look sloppy. Y'all playing sloppy. Like, we did not practice. We did not go over this in practice for y'all to come out here and play sloppy. Like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. No. Come out here, do better. I know y'all could do better. Y'all showed me last week y'all could do better. Do better. And like Ari said, to let the fire on their butts because, they played a whole heck of a lot better the second half. A whole heck of a lot better the second half. So I'm like, okay, still lost. We made a touchdown. That's good. That's progress. So hopefully next game we can learn from the mistakes from the last 3 games, put them into practice. So when game time shows up this Saturday, we can actually walk away with a dub. And yeah, that was it. That was all my highlights. It was pretty much boring.
Okay.
Sounding better than my Giants, man.
And don't get me started. Don't get me started on football right now. Don't get me started.
My school won. My school won on Saturday, so that was exciting.
Hey.
Yeah.
Go Noles.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right, because college football.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even like that into sports at all. I happened to go into like this one sports bar called Twin Peaks. Like I just happened to be near there with a friend, and I was like, oh, let's go check out this place because I've been hearing about it. And I was like, oh shit, my school is playing. Oh, and we're winning. That's great. So I was happy about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Avery, if you feel comfortable sharing, you haven't yet, right?
I'm just listening, enjoying it.
Okay.
What was the question?
I guess just how was your weekend, or if anything you just want to share?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. This was a good weekend. I had a cousin from Virginia come up to town for the weekend, so
Nice.
we got to go to downtown Manhattan in New York, and we actually had dinner with some of my high school friends, so that was kind of cool.
Nice. That's really cool.
And then but nothing eventful like that. And then I was watching football on Sunday. And then I also had to work Sunday too, so most of my day was just working football.
Okay. May we ask what you do for a living?
Sure. Currently I'm a merchandiser and cashier for Total Wine.
Okay.
Oh snap!
Nice. I love Total Wine.
Hey, yay!
Yeah.
So it's been a cool experience. You get to learn a lot about wines and meet entrepreneurs and just different people from walks of life over wine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been kind of cool. And then that's my job now to help with my certification. I'm working on a certification in software development. So once that finishes, my plan is to go into tech.
Nice. Okay, awesome.
Nice. Huge congrats on that.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
Nice. Oh, like one of my brothers is actually a sommelier.
Hey.
Yeah. So he's I mean, like he's still like certified, but like he went into like a different field of work. But yeah, like he can taste wines and tell you, if it's old world or new world, what kind of grape they use, sort of thing.
Dang.
Yeah, or what kind of wine it is, if it's like a Rioja, Chardonnay, I don't know, Cabernet, all the nays.
I love it. I love it.
I love it. But it's so many. It's too many for me to name. I would be here all night naming wines. It's just so many.
No, for sure. But yeah, no, that's awesome, and congrats on moving towards certification.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But other than that, that was most of my weekend. Just seeing family who I haven't seen in a while, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
That was really nice.
Yeah. That sounds like a fun weekend. Okay. I guess.
That's the first lesson of the season.
I would have some kids who would actually want to try to do it. They're like, no, don't, please don't. For heaven's sakes, don't do it. No. Oh, I thought you said no, don't.
No,
leave their hearts in. Just
leave their literal hearts in.
They need their hearts for like middle and high school football.
Man, listen, right. Jeez, this man Rocky finna get me in trouble already. This man Rocky finna get me in trouble. Somebody watch this like, are you really teaching? Because like, no, I'm not. No, I promise you I'm not. I promise you. No. But I did tell the parents that yes, I may come off a little harsh because when I was playing football, my coaches demanded discipline and excellence. That's what they demanded. Regardless if we won or lost, that's what they demanded. Each play, you give it your 110% every play, every down, every quarter. You don't stop until the whistle blows. And when that final whistle blows, and if you can walk off that field with no regrets, you had a good game, regardless if you won or lost. Regardless if you won or lost. If you can walk off not regretting nothing, you had a good game. The moment where you start regretting when you lost, when you leave that football field, obviously you didn't give it your all.
Yeah.
Obviously you didn't give it your all. So that stuck with me. And I told them, like, that's the way how I coach. That's the way how I'm going to coach. If that's something that you don't like, you can take your child and you go.
Savagery.
I always say whichever's the first thing that bothers you should be the first thing you want to work on. My coach was the same way. I played basketball in high school, and my coach was the same way. You gave it all, every possession, every bucket.
Yes.
Every bucket.
Yes.
That's right.
Even then, my oldest son, he plays football. He said, Dad, why don't you think about becoming a high school coach? I'm like, man, I don't think that's going to fly because these kids going to end up crying because now I got a lot more what I could actually do. Like, if I think that you over there acting a fool, and if I tell you to run them backstops at full speed and come back full speed, oh, yeah, I would do it. Up, downs, oh, yeah.
It's going to be scarred.
Yeah, but guess what? When it comes to that game time, they already know, like, hey, we better not mess up because come practice, it's a done deal.
It's a wrap.
That's very real, though.
But best believe they're well prepared for each game.
Oh yeah. And the Rockies' point, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had a few parents who I rubbed up against, and there was one point where I ended up apologizing, but at the same time, like I told them, like, listen, if the issue with come talk to me. Come talk to me. I'm not. It's not the fact that I'm not unreachable or I'm uncontactable. Like no, the way how I coach is what was instilled in me. If I can instill the same philosophy into your kids, not only will it just work just for football, but for any other area of their life, to me, that's a win. To a win. But if that's something that rubs against you the wrong way, like I do apologize for the harshness. I do apologize that rather than smacking your kid on the butt because, you know, that's what I grew up doing. But if I smack them on the head, tell them like, hey, wake up. And then, you know, if you find that, you know, bad, okay, I'll stop. If you don't want me yelling at your kid because they're messing up, okay, I'll stop. But at the same time, don't get mad at me if I decide to discipline them. Don't get mad if I decide to discipline them. So we good? Sure, yeah, we good, coach. Thank you, coach. Like, okay, cool, great. You know,
They'll definitely thank you later. It might hurt now, but they'll
oh
thank
yeah.
you. Not Drake related.
Uh, don't mind. Don't. Never mind. I'm gonna leave Drake alone. I'm gonna leave Drake alone. I'm gonna leave Drake alone. I ain't gonna drag that man. Not today. Not tonight. No. Mm-mm.
Be like that though.
I do. I do. Think this way. I think yes. So, sir,
Yep.
over here. So,
What's good?
would you like to, since you've been on a roll with the introductions and all of the good stuff, would you mind telling the peoples what they came to see today?
Right. What have we come here to see? We've come here to see. We've come here to feel the beat. We've come here to feel the beat and listen to some music. Not quite literally because we're going to probably get copyright infringements, but metaphorically, we're going to listen to the music. Because today's topic is, can you feel the beat? Because you can't have a month talking about music without talking about how does it make you feel. We talk about the mood of music, which is important, but then there's also the core, the you have the sort of the component. There you go, of dance. Music is influenced by and influences dance, and so we wanted to kind of talk about how we've seen that play out in society, in our own personal lives, and also kind of generally how we've had our personal fingerprint on music, or how I guess it's imprinted on us in terms of like, have we done our own, like dancing, for instance, which is the main topic, you know, have we had our own personal experience with it? And then same thing with like actually creating music, whether playing instruments or even people involved in the more technical end of things like producing, recording, and that type of stuff. Now, Avery, something that I had actually, I don't know if I explicitly told you, but part of the reason why I have been interested in talking to you is because you also had posted about like the hip hop museum, right? That you're very, very passionate about that. And I feel hip hop as a whole. And so I just felt like you would have some pretty great insights on like music personally, but also how dance was a pretty big, like, I guess, like, catalyst for these type of forces. Like, I don't know anything about the museum, to be honest. So that's like one thing that I'm so curious to learn more about. And I know hip hop is bigger than just music. Dance is a big part of that. Elle has of course talked about this, and last week you did great in your perspective, Elle, about kind of how you were involved in hip hop in high school or in college, I believe. And so one of the big components, of course, is like the dance, the break-in, but then even just other dance broadly. So kind of a little all over the place, but in terms of like the personal connection to dance, I won't monopolize the time, but just like on my end, I didn't grow up at all like dancing, knowing how it wasn't really a thing in our family, even with like the African Nigerian influence, because I just felt like I wasn't quite in those spaces as much. Maybe some kind of like memorial services or wakes, right? The wake keepings. And there would be points where you have like these more traditional dances where you're spraying money. If you know, you know. People are putting money on the family of the deceased. Very joyous time. It was kind of like a bit like, I was like kind of confused because I was like, yeah, someone just died and like it was all sad. But if you were there, you wouldn't think there was anything sad about it. And so dance was always a very kind of a very upbeat thing, even for some of the sad occasions. Use it more as a celebration to, to celebrate someone's life versus mourning that they're gone. But I kind of just ended up finding dance on my own when I started going to college. I guess leaving high school, thanks to like homecoming and prom, so much more of American versus like traditional. But it kind of got me interested in just different genres, which I kind of explored. And I'll talk more about later in the stream. But different genres that I did. Some of them hip hop, like breakdancing. Others were just other genres. And yeah, it's not something I always talk about a lot or post about, but like I've been a lot more interested in dance. I've wanted to take more classes. I just haven't given myself the time to do it. But yeah, I guess that's like my personal-ish journey when it came to sort of music and dance. And then in terms of music, I used to play piano growing up, actually. Which, I wasn't really playing it at like formal recitals or like dances or balls. So it was not really tied in with dance at all, but I did play the piano very young. But then I pivoted after like 5th grade or so. And I started playing the violin. And the violin, I mean, similarly, like I wasn't playing this at formal events where people are really like dancing. There was like one event I got to play at for like the parents of certain like high achievers for like our high school graduation. So there was like 2 of us playing the violin at like kind of like nice little. It was like literally in graduation, like the same arena where the graduation was, but there was parents for like the top 10 or 20 students. But that was really all like outside of like school that I really did with instruments and playing. But I do know there are people who really like go hardcore and they'll like either play while they're dancing or they'll like play it for more upbeat type crowds. A lot of people do like the covers, which is really cool, like hip hop covers, African or Latin music covers. And that's definitely much more like get the crowd going. I've even seen like, I'm gonna have to put the person's name in the chat, but Chelsea Green, she's a Black violinist, and I went to like a master class that she did back in June. It was a free thing. It was pretty chill improv, and like she was just explaining her background and like how she grew up. I think I'm trying to remember where she's from, Houston, I think, and she did like gospel. There's like so many different things. Some of it was pop, some of it was more gospel-ish, but she did like these crazy violin like improv covers and everything, and I was like, dang. So that kind of like rebirthed something. I can't really say rebirthed anything because I didn't start. I didn't like pick my violin back up and attempt to. it, in theory, kind of gave me more inspiration. But I will kind of leave it there. I'm gonna actually see if I can pick it up. This thing is in dire need of some help, but it is here. Yes,
we gonna see you play, or
oh god, this thing's not even in tune right now. So that's maybe if I can get it in tune, and maybe I'll whip something up. But for now, it's just gonna sit there. I can hear it very out of tune. So that's at least I haven't lost my sense of like my sense
hearing.
Yes, Rocky.
Yeah.
Yes.
Toby's the coolest out of all of us by a lot.
Wow. I appreciate that,
you, my boy.
My boy. No, but L, coming from L, I mean, for both of you, I feel like you're pretty cool, Avery. Like, you actually, like, I feel like you actually kind of low-key scream cool with, like, the hip-hop background and, like, the engineering. You got it all. I mean, I guess I'm also an engineer who is into music to some kind of way, but, and then L, well, we all know L is, like, too popular to, like, she just can't figure out, like, what was it that her saying? Like, she just doesn't know how to like choose how many people to invite, or she can't fit all these people in her house or something. There was definitely some kind of joke that was made, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh man.
It was like a party I was having or something.
There's a wait list or something, it seems.
Yes.
I wish. Maybe there is, and I'm just looking the wrong way.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Right, thanks. I guess I think that was a compliment.
Oh yeah. She's cool. She called me cool. It's like instant elevation of coolness.
Just like
Also,
cool Ellie.
I just realized there's a. What was that, Avery? You said?
Just cool Allie.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
I will not confirm nor deny what Rocky just posted. So
The cool kids table. I don't know about that. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't even know where I sat my first few years. I kind of remember I don't know. It was very random. Like, I just sat where I could, I guess. Some of them were kind of cool. Others was just like, high school was so weird. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
like the tropes and like the different categories of who's popular and whatever. I mean, it didn't exactly fully match what you would expect from TV, and at least in my friend groups, because like I guess there were some people who were just so cool that I wasn't with them. But then with some of the other people that were popular, I mean, they were like the smartest kids, typically. They weren't really typically rude or very cliquey, and either. Oftentimes, kind of like a tangent, but it just kind of reminded me. Just perception is not always reality. And I ended up sitting like with my friends who got me into like internet and memes, and like I was always into video games, but we bonded over video games too. So those are like my better friends, I would say, my junior and senior year, who I actually hung out with like outside of school, which was never really a thing. We would just, talk about games, memes, and have fun. We didn't have parties like that. Definitely not really dance, and definitely not really even much music, but just games, board games, video games, which is a separate topic, lest we get completely off track, because one thing about us, if we start talking about games, video games, or God forbid anime, topic is out the window, and the stream is on a completely different train. In fact, the chat is probably gonna start going on that direction. Now, I did see this. This is definitely a big thing, too, in the modern era, right? Because you could talk about dance, like old school dances, a lot of the stuff like Elvis Presley was doing, and obviously Michael Jackson. There's a lot of people who, dance was a big part of the persona. You had a lot of dances getting a little more provocative over the years. Dirty Dancing, Footloose were pretty big movies in the 80s, I want to say. But now we fast forward to the age of TikTok, and it's like a whole different arena and ball game. A lot more democratized, right? Anyone can jump in and do them and possibly get viral and famous. I can't let the youths have all the fun. Oh, that makes me sad.
Right.
Like, wait a second. Are we not youths anymore?
And according to Mish, we're not. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, once we leave the cool kids table in high school, we are no longer youths.
Did.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta get the pep back in the step.
Man, listen. I had to stretch this morning. This is the first morning I actually had to stretch. Normally I could wake up, boom, out the door. No, I had to stretch. Just to get my day started. Like, man, this is some bull. No. Nope. But Mish, I'm not dealing with you right now, Mish. The last comment Mish done posted. Go, yeah, Mish. Just we may get there, but not right now. We may get there, but not right now.
I will say it's fun. It's fun watching like some of the younger ones doing their dances on TikTok. It's completely fun.
Yeah, like it definitely could be very wholesome. Just people just just having their fun. Sometimes you see them with parents or older like siblings, and it's just like like you're tapping into something. I mean, as a kid, I definitely wasn't like aware of trends and whatever. Like people were like, my little sister forced me to make a TikTok. Like that was never a thing. I mean, we had camcorders, I think, like those little small tiny discs and the camcorder. Like that was a big achievement when we learned how to use camcorders. And I mean, I guess that is funny because I completely forgot about this. And it was not really planned to mention, but I did do this like kind of dance. You could say it was like praise ministry type thing with my siblings. I think we were called Family of Praise. So we would do like call it interpretive dance, sort of. Be some kind of usually contemporary Christian song. Sometimes it would be something maybe Kirk Franklin, Donnie McClurkin. There was a big one. Maybe the Winan, CC, BB, whoever. And we would do some kind of routine to it. We would have the props, whatever it was. And so there was, I remember the reason why I mentioned it was because they would be recorded on these camcorders. We would have to go through them at one point. We were tempted to like upload them, make them digital on the computer. That was a nightmare. Like, thank God for like smartphones and anything else that is, it's like, I'll start. Wait a second. I didn't even do this. Listen, I am never one to question or judge a girl and how she quenches her thirst. That is up to her.
Hydrate the hustle.
What do you say?
Hydrate the hustle.
Hydrate the hustle. I mean, I've been eating like these peanut butter pretzels, so they're like hella salty.
Those are good.
Yeah. But considering I just opened this like tonight and I'm almost done with it, I'm just, I guess, hella thirsty.
There you go.
I could use that much water, to be honest. Actually, thankfully, we do have this here because this is a first, honestly. I kind of had to bring this into my room after like yesterday because I was like, I have no water. Usually I have more water bottles or like sparkling water, and I did not have any. I was going to withdrawal. So I was like, well, at least let me bring the pitcher in.
Oh, we know you're just busting it.
But are you really?
I definitely stay hydrated.
Man, do I want to bring my... Jeez, y'all about to make me readjust my camera. Hold up. I'm doing water.
Oh, we still do crank that soldier.
Hey.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll play that at my wedding.
There you go. I'll dance to it.
Turn out the wedding, the wedding dinner rehearsal. It's totally up.
Yeah. You gotta like throw it back to like some of those classics. I remember everyone was talking about Soldier Boy. Oh my god. Sorry to say it, but extremely white way of saying it. But the Soldier Boy. I remember back in 8th grade. It was like 2008. It's always easy to remember what year I was in school because the year matches. My year matched the school year, so I ended 8th grade in 2008. And so around that time, 2007, 2008, it was. I remember Soldier Boy, and I didn't really want to do it because I actually realized I could. I was like, "Oh crap, I can actually do this," but I don't want to. Like I was not really. I don't know. I was popular-ish in sometimes, not in 8th grade, I would say, but like people knew me, and I think it somehow got word that I knew how to do it. So people kept asking me in gym class, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And then eventually, I just kind of did it. But yeah, the Soldier Boy, that would have to be one for sure. Anything from that era where you kind of like, because that's the fun thing about it. You're married, unless you got married really young, like in your late teen years. This is kind of like throwing it back to 10 or more years from when you were in school, right? So it's like, oh, we're getting married in our 20s or even 30s. And it's like, yeah, we're going to bring it all the way back, right? Like that is actually pretty cool. Like there's people who, especially the Greeks, like the Black Greeks, who will play like some of those classic songs like Back That Thing Up or Knock If You Buck or some of those other very classic ones from the 2000s or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, man. bring it back. Like, make everyone get in their feels a little bit, or like get hyped up.
Agreed. Definitely agreed.
Agreed.
Definitely agreed.
That's the one.
Oh no, they took Avery.
Bring Avery back. Bring Avery back because
you
crank that soldier boy. Crank that soldier boy. Crank that soldier. Crank that soldier. Yeah, there we go.
Superman that hoe. I'm not even sure if I know what that is.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a very sexual thing.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Because I would say it, and I think my sisters would talk. I don't know. I was saying it like 7th or 8th grade. My sisters were really like Superman that, like with the look of like really on their face, and I was like, I don't know, Superman that. Go for it. Listen, I'm an innocent bystander. I'm just saying things. Superman.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Rocky,
no, like Rocky, if you want to inform at least me. That's a good, because it's just one of those things where like you're just singing the song, and like how old? I was like in high school, so like when that song. Yeah, I think I was in high school, and so like I didn't know. I was just like saying fucking words. I gotta look this up now. Superman, that hoe. That's funny. Urban Dictionary says a male runs extremely fast and leaps in the air and lands directly in between a female's legs. If done correctly, both parties will have an orgasm at the same time. What?
What?
No, that's not happening.
I was like, nope, I have to rule that one out. It's like, I know that's not how biology is going to work.
Okay, I don't think that's what that is. Let me see. Superman that hoe. So Soldier Boy on the meaning of Superman that hoe and the money he made off Crank That. Okay. He talked about those crazy money making. According to he made it. Okay, I think you have to watch a video to see what that even means. So I don't really feel like watching the video.
Right.
So I'll try to figure it out. But if you guys know, let me know. Because I keep seeing all these different meanings.
Yeah. I just figure it's just like...
Wait a second.
Urban Dictionary.
When you ejaculate on a girl's back, then put a blanket on her, so when she stands up, it's like a cape.
Oh, wait a second. Actually, I think that does sound vaguely familiar.
I don't know. That's trifling. I don't care. That's trifling.
That's extremely
trifling. That's trifling.
That's actually not okay, but actually not even close to okay. But
yeah, that's all these different meanings. People like making up shit. I don't know. This one it says to have sex while on Viagra or other sexual stimulant that gives erection endurance. I don't know. Wait a second. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
I'm guessing it's the cape one. Because I think I've actually heard that before. Like it's like so vaguely familiar in my like receded brain space that it's probably like I didn't want to know what that was, but my brain stored it just like in some kind of cache just in case I needed to pull it out. I can't tell what D put because while they're playing your jam, the lyrics get problematic. Yo, that is like, I'm not gonna even come for those songs, but like, there's definitely a few songs, some old school reggae, I think, a dance hall that also was just like, oh man, these lyrics are not what they should be. But I'm still gonna sing the song anyway.
Well, yeah, dance hall. Always thought that it was like very obvious.
Right.
It's like maybe because I can understand patois, but like
you can understand what
patois.
Yeah.
So, like, I always understood that, but like, yeah, no, there's some. I guess it's just like these weird slang things, and it's always like,
oh yeah, let me go.
demeaning to women. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to like at least dance hall reggae, like are they demeaning? Of course, but like I feel like it's like a little bit more even because like there are women who are just saying some trifling ass shit too, you know, like so. I feel like it's just more empowering. I think I mentioned this before where you know people were like going crazy about the whole like wet ass pussy song. And I was like, oh, well, tell me you've never heard dancehall without telling me you've never heard dancehall. Because that's like PG-13 to like what dancehall says. So yeah, like
What they're really saying. Yeah, now for me, I wasn't conscious enough to like because I wasn't really listening to a lot of these songs back in the day. Like I didn't hear a lot of music that came out in the 90s or even early 2000s. I didn't really hear until even college, honestly. Hey.
There we go.
So it's not like I was singing a lot of inappropriate or problematic lyrics that much. And then all of a sudden I get older. I'm like, oh wow, what was I singing? Like for me, I kind of saw those songs after the fact. But sometimes I would see those threads, maybe on Instagram or whatever, where it's like, wait, why were we singing this song? And I'm like, wait. Even like the whole Chains and Whips excitement. I mean, I knew that song. That was very much just like I've heard, of course, those lyrics, but it's not like I can recall hearing the song and singing along to it. So it's not like I was so influenced where I was like, dang, I was really saying some wild stuff back when I was 8. Like,
I mean, the song is called SM. Is it S and M? Because I know she doesn't say S and M. She goes S S S S M M M. But yeah, I thought that was it was like it was right there, Toby.
Oh no, I'm not saying that I didn't know what it was. It's just more interesting it's just interesting. Like that's one of the ones that was more obvious, but I wasn't
like it didn't sink
hearing
in
it while it came out. Well, more I'm just saying that like that's one of the few songs that I did. That's one of the few songs I did know what it was saying.
Oh,
back when I heard it, but I didn't actually listen to it when it like came out. Really, it's more like I would see it in memes, I guess, or I would see the lyrics. But I wasn't like listening to it and singing to it. Even in my head right now, I don't have a good grasp of what it sounds like because it's so as I've seen more people mention the lyrics and actually have played the song. But then there's like other songs where it's like people are singing them and it's just like, oh, they actually didn't know what it was at the time. And I'm like, I can't relate because I just didn't listen to these songs enough. So when I heard the songs or saw the lyrics, it was well after they came out anyway, and I was already clearly an adult. But that's a little outside of the dance component, but it is still like an interesting sort of like cultural, like just things that are masked, I guess, and we just block out some of those like second meetings or those like what do you call them? Like the innuendos or whatever.
Yeah. Or like double entendres.
Yeah, the entendres, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this would be a good question for everyone in the chat. Like, what was like a lyric or multiple lyrics or what have you that you didn't know what it meant to, like when you were a kid, you were just singing along to it, and then it took you probably like way later to actually for it to like hit. I have one.
I have a song.
So Jay-Z has a song like, I showed you how to do this, son. And then he starts saying, I showed you how to do this, hun, where he starts talking to women. And there's a line that goes, I think this is in the Blueprint too, The Gift and the Curse.
Smoking that la la la, or might be something.
No, that's isn't that? I forgot what that was. I thought that's not Dirt Off Your Shoulder.
That's
a remix. That's a remix.
Yeah, they did it.
Remix?
Yes,
it's the remix to Dirt.
Yes,
so I showed you how to do this. Oh, you're thinking of that line? No, the song is literally called "I Showed You How to Do This" song. So from The Gift and the he starts talking to women, and he goes, "Never give a Edward nothing unless he's treating you special. He's soon to get desperate and go down and bless you. And when he comes up for air with a mouthful of hair, grab your Coach bag and get the fuck out of there." And I did not know what he meant. And I was like, I can't remember when it clicked. I think I was in college. Yeah, and I was like, oh.
He was going in.
He was going all the way.
Yeah, I was like, wow, like dudes be getting desperate, and this shouldn't be an act of desperation. Anyways, that's for another topic. But like, it was like, oh,
mind blown.
It's like, of course, now that I'm older, it's like oh, okay, that's like obvious. But when you're like young and like you don't know much about, like, it's like when he comes up for air with a mouthful of, it's like, I don't know. Like I was trying to think, like if it's something more like he's trying to come up, like if he's like suffocating in some way, or like if he's like at his wit's end or something. It's like it's time to get out. I don't know. I just didn't understand the reference, but I don't know. I was like, I don't know, like 11, 12 when I first heard this song. I have no idea.
I had the CD. No, I'm gonna say with you. I had the CD. It wasn't until I got older, like, wait a minute, he's talking about. Oh crap! Wow. Like, okay.
Go back and listen to the song.
The heartbreak you feel like when you have those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What was one I remember growing up?
I would say for me, the song "Brown Sugar" by D'Angelo is like a big time '90s R&B song. He talks about marijuana when the whole time I thought he was talking about black women and like black love. So it's this one verse he says, he talks of backwoods and chocolate tide, which is like a strain of marijuana. I'm thinking this is a whole melanin and he's going in on black love. But the heartbreak I felt, and I discovered this probably my first year of college.
Oh,
I don't.
Wait, so what song?
I don't even know if I know the song.
It's
D'Angelo.
It's an R&B song. It's called Brown Sugar.
Brown Sugar.
I don't know if I know the song. 'Cause the only song I know from D'Angelo, which every woman knows, is just Untitled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where he's just naked. And you're just
like the whole video, I think.
Yeah. So
yes.
like that, like.
Interesting.
So I have a funny story about this particular song. I actually heard this song at a wedding. It was the instrumental to this. It Wasn't Me by Shaggy. The instrumental at a wedding, which I thought was very like peculiar, like very ironic. And I'm like, I don't like it was a great instrumental. I'm not going to deny that. Like, everybody was like vibing, but like there was also no alcohol at this wedding, so everybody was sober. So like, I can understand if everybody was drunk, they probably wouldn't be able to like connect the two. like
wow.
Like if my friend didn't point it out, I probably wouldn't have noticed, because like it's like, yeah, I recognize it. It's like, oh. I was like, wait a second. Then my friend pointed out, I was like, yeah, this isn't this. It Wasn't Me by Shaggy.
Yeah, that's a big one. I actually knew what I was about, so I have to go look at those Pumped Up Kicks, though, yeah, that was one that I actually knew more about shortly after I heard it, because I feel like people were talking about it. Actually, our mutual friend Avery, I'm pretty sure it was Tati or someone at RPI who was pointing, maybe Josh, someone, we were listening to the song and was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is like people being shot in school, but okay. Like, it's just like, wait a second. Excuse me. And that song is more, yeah, it was 2010, so that song wasn't even that old. I mean, it was like 8 years old, but it was more relatively more recent than some of the older 2000s and 90s songs. Every R. Kelly song, bro.
Yes.
Mary Jane was.
Yeah.
You're bringing it back, Rocky.
Yeah.
Yes. Every R. Kelly song, facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Some problems.
When he gets in trouble with the law, he's like, "Oh, let me just make a song for like weddings real quick. Step, step, side to side." It's like, "Oh, we love him again." It's like, "Oh no, 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 no."
Right.
No. I don't know.
I got one.
Yeah,
I got one for y'all. So, y'all remember when Usher made "Good Kisser," right?
Yeah.
maybe
Like 2016, I think.
Yeah.
That must have been recent. How did I not know the song?
Yeah, I don't know this.
Usher was just getting out of his pop phase, like around then.
So, again, we're thinking he's talking about kissing the girl when in all actuality, nah, he ain't. That man is talking about some other stuff that we're gonna talk about next month.
Good time of kissing something else, right?
Kissing some other lips. Okay.
Yeah,
the different lips. All right, let me go look that one up. Honestly, and I'd be so out the loop with music sometimes. Like some of the really popular ones, of course, but there's other songs where I'm like, oh shoot, I should probably know what that is. Let me just not get my black card revoked live. Sometimes it'd be like that.
Sometimes I'll be scared getting my black card revoked. Like I need to know certain songs.
Right. Yeah. No, nothing can get your black card revoked.
Right. Of course.
Another one too was "Rock the Boat" by Aaliyah.
Yeah, yeah, that took me a long time to know. Yeah, that's true. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that one. Who was it? It was one of my older relatives who put me on. And I was like, really? They're like, yeah. You thought you talking about like actual boat? Like, yeah. Like,
me too.
No.
She's like on a boat in the music video.
Yes. You thinking no? She's like, no. Talking about some other topic we're gonna talk about next month.
I'm looking at the lyrics because that's a song that I also didn't really hear back when it came out. Like I would always hear that like dun 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 dun, but like I didn't know when that. So I think sometime after hearing it, it was obvious, but that's because I was already a bit older. But I can imagine. I mean, look when this came out because this obviously is older.
I think Aaliyah was 01, 2001.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Wow. Whoa. Is way okay, yeah, that is a good time ago.
Oh.
2001. Goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. I mean, like that's not a song I would have heard at that time. My sisters were 4 and 6 years older than me, respectively. So at that point, in 2001, my sisters would have been 10 and like 12 years old. And I mean, they definitely listened to more music than I did. Because there was a point some years ago I was home for vacation, and they were just talking amongst themselves about like some music that they used to listen to. They talked about like some of Nelly and some other artists, some like older, I guess, R&B artists. And I was like, huh. I don't think I know who these people really are. I mean, I've heard of Nelly. I've heard of all these people, but it's just like I couldn't tell you like off the top of my head their songs or like an era that I can remember when their stuff came out. So I've heard that they probably could have heard a lot more of these songs. Like if I go back and I'm like, hey, do you remember when Aaliyah came out with this music? Did you listen to it when you were actually younger, or did you have to discover it in like 2000? I don't even know what year it was. I don't know the first time I heard Rock the Boat, but the first time I consciously remember knowing that it was a song probably was like not that far before the pandemic. We're talking about 2018, 17, maybe 16. I don't know if I was already here full time in Boston or if I was at RPI in grad school, but it definitely probably was not before 2016. So I'm like, yikes, that's like 15 plus years later, but oh well.
You know what song? I was trying to remember it. It goes like, what would you do if your son was at home crying all alone on the bedroom floor because he's hungry? They usually would play that song like during like happy moments in movies sometimes because it had like a really kind of like an upbeat sort of beat. And it's like, this is a really fucking sad song. Like,
oh my god.
Yes.
like,
Yeah, I'm looking at these lyrics.
City High.
That is different.
Yeah. It's like to be like, oh, everybody. It's like it's the end of the movie. Everyone's happy. What would you do if your son was at home crying all alone on the bedroom floor? It's like, what would you do though? No.
Someone was on the bed.
I know. It's like
turning tricks.
Sleep with a man for a little bit of money.
Let's
go. Man, yes. Sheesh. That song was talking about something real. That song was talking about real life.
I know. And then it's like, oh yay, they finally won the hockey game. What would you do if your son was at home?
They leave with the hockey victory.
Yo.
Oh man. You know what? Speaking of that song, I remember watching Life, and it came on at the end of Life.
Exactly,
I'm like,
that's what I was thinking.
really?
That's what I was thinking. Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Like, wait a minute, they at the baseball game. You gonna play that song at the end of the baseball game when they're like, wow, like.
Yes.
Now that I'm older and I'm looking back on it, that's messed up.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, what did they play at the end of Life? I was like, how the fuck did that song go?
That's messed up. Dang, LC. Childhood, anybody who is like mid, late 20s, early 30s, just find your childhood and just rip it up. It's just rip it up. Literally, just rip it up. Childhood is no longer existent.
Yeah.
Like, I was just today. I was thinking. I was like, wasn't there something called Babe Watch on Hey Arnold? It was supposed to be like a parody of Baywatch, but they called it Babe Watch, and that's so to the point. And I was like, wait a second, did that really happen? And so I Googled it. I was like, Babe Watch Hey Arnold. And like they had like some clips. I was like, oh yeah, that did happen. Because I remember like Helga would just watch it sometimes. Like that was like one of her like it was like her show. She just watch Babe Watch. But like I'm wondering why that hasn't like there needs to be like a show or like some sort of I don't know, like funny TikTok series called Babe Watch because I think that would just be fucking hilarious.
That would be funny. I would definitely tune into that or like via Reels or something.
Right, yeah. Just a funny parody of Baywatch. Babe Watch. Just some stupidness.
Wow. Man.
But
just the timing on some of these like 10, 20 years later, it's like really?
Yeah. And like I initially just Googled Babe Watch and like the first thing that came up was like a porno. And I was like, first of all, that kind of hurt because I'm like, they most likely got the name from Hey Arnold. I think that's where it came first. Most likely not. I don't know. To create the Baywatch after Baywatch doesn't take that much thought, but I don't know. Like I was like, wait a second, let me do Babe Watch Hey Arnold, and it was sure enough, it was a thing. I was like, no, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I think this was a thing. Like,
Oh man, Elle had to see you through. Got to see you
Yeah.
through, my girl.
Yeah.
Got to see you through.
That's the other my boy.
Baywatch.
Oh man,
Oh,
that's
oh.
hilarious.
Oh,
Oh, Jason
Yeah.
Momoa was on that. See, I never watched Baywatch, so I only knew David Hasselhoff. And honestly, that's also because of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie and how they parodied the whole thing. But I didn't know what Baywatch was at the time, so I didn't really understand all of like what SpongeBob was doing, like what like the show creators were doing. But looking at the cast right now, I had no idea Jason Momoa was on there.
Me neither.
I didn't.
I feel like he would have been like a kid,
Yeah, he had to have been pretty young at that
or
time.
like 19 or something. I mean, he is a bae you'd watch though. So
Shout out to the Bays.
yeah. Ah man.
Even Breath You Take by Police.
Yeah, it's like every breath you take, every move you make,
Oh,
every step you take, there's something in me. I'll be watching you.
oh, yes.
See, can't you see you belong to me? Yeah, it's pretty much the guy from the show You. That's true. Yeah.
I still need to watch you. I've heard really
Oh,
good.
you have to. There's season 4. It was announced, and I saw like a little clip of it. Not like a clip, but like it was like introducing all the new characters. Looks like it's gonna be good because he's like in London.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
Yo, I just looked at
that's
the
enticing. I definitely.
Yeah.
I gotta look for the trailer for that.
Yeah. 'Cause- no, that would be good.
someone said Mark Zuckerberg's ringtone. Like I was looking at the video for the YouTube video for Every Breath You Take, and literally the top comment was Mark Zuckerberg's ringtone. So yeah, that's another angle to go into it. But yes, there's also the Facebook in general, social media, over surveillance that we willingly subject ourselves to. Yeah. So I don't know. It's I would say like one song that I kind of remember where it was like, yo, this song, this. I mean, it's not even like the worst lyrics. It's just that this is one of the few songs I actually remember hearing when I was younger. But and I had no idea who was saying it. Now it's like very obvious. But I thought they were saying "drop it like a car." Then I thought it said "drop it like a tot." I was like, "Drop it like a tot." They're talking like little kids or like tater tots. I was so confused. And then later I realized it was "drop it like it's hot." Because like if you listen to it, the way "drop it like it's hot," like the way that it's hot sort of slurs, it could sound like it's hot. But "drop it like it's hot," and I had no idea what that meant. I remember this was on the bus when I was in like 5th or 4th grade. I think 5th grade because I walked to school in 3rd and 4th grade. But and the end of 4th grade, they destroyed our school. They did like demolition to rebuild it. And literally, it was walking distance. You could see where the school was. So now I had to ride the bus for the first time in my life. I basically walked to that same school where that was being demolished. It was in Salisbury, Maryland. And then we took a bus. I'd say like 3 buses. We took a bus to to like a high school, so Wacomico High School, which I think might have been the same bus, the same place that because my sisters rode the bus with me. My oldest sister was in high school at the time. So that was kind of weird because I wasn't used to being on the same bus, and it was very different ages. Like, why do we have 5th grader with like high school students? But any case, we then rode over to that high school, and then we took another bus to go to the elementary school, and then we took a different bus back from the elementary school, I think, to the high school to then catch the bus back to the actual the neighborhood where I lived, where the demolished school was. But I always remember hearing "drop it like it's hot" on one of those buses, and I was very confused on what I was hearing. And it's not something I realized for a very, very long time, like probably not until high school or even close to college. And it's not like it was some crazy like over sexual lyrics, because whatever, drop it like it's hot, like drop it low. I mean, that's like very mild on the spectrum of things. But it was just like, we were in elementary school hearing about dropping it like it's hot. All right. And so things like that, I'm just like, so this is what people actually felt like when it was like there are all these random songs that they had no idea what they were saying, and then they realized what they are later. And that was like a small thing. So I can imagine for those people who like actually were listening to much more provocative songs, the kind of mind blowing that you would have had. Marmo Magos.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you again for coming on.
Yes.
I didn't realize that you was here in the background. Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Adios, mi amigo.
Adios.
Cuídense.
Cuídense.
Well, I guess this one, yeah. Because he always, cause I think he's from Mexico, so I know he would always.
Thanks for hanging on.
I know, right? Locked up, they won't let me out. Did they leave without him? Did no one check to see if he's still inside? Should I have to see what these lyrics were because it's that one slipping my phone. But I can imagine wholesome lyrics.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's one of the only ones I can really remember. There's nothing else where it was like, oh, well, the other song that I would hear all the time, because there was like this, like, I think it was like a fashion, it was like a dance team, but I think also mixed with fashion at my high school. And so they would practice after school. I would be doing like other after school clubs. And I would always hear like this, like, because the song was like dun 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 dun, and it would just be like like it was just literally like muttering, and I was like, I have no idea what the song is. To find out that they were actually, and I don't know how I found this because this was before the age of Shazam and SoundHound, so I have no idea how I was finding music, but I eventually heard it, and it was "I'm a Bee" by what's that Black Eyed Peas. It's like I'm a bee. So I would always just hear like that, like the fanfare, and then I was like, and I was like, what are they saying? And like that's not like a crazy song or anything from what I remember, but it's just kind of funny how like we have no idea what we're saying. Sometimes what we're saying, what's being said to us, and how music can be such a big influencer, but we're not really even aware of what is happening.
Agreed.
And I mean, going back to the point with dance, like if you're on TikTok, especially, or Vine, like Dee had mentioned earlier, Vine, of course, Vine was heavily like Vine was popular, but Musically was a really, really popular app. I didn't have Musically, but I remember going onto YouTube, a lot of compilations and challenges, they would use Musically. Like I think The Weeknd's, what's that song? It's The Real Me. The one where there's a burning car and I think Caitlyn Jenner was in it.
I know what you're talking about.
Got me effed up. What's that song called? It came out. It's not the one that's like the drugs.
The Hills.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. The Hills. So The Hills, that was always a very popular one on a lot of those like compilations. That one, and I think I think that I found myself Cheerleader. That was a huge one because this was 2015. I think even Baby I'm Worth It, like Kid Ink and the not City Girls, but Fifth Harmony. I was gonna say we're going pre that era. And so like a lot of Musically, you know, it was a lip syncing app, and so you would see a lot of that on Vine. I didn't really use Vine, the app proper. I just would go on YouTube compilations, and so it, you know, the dance was a pretty big thing. At those times, it wasn't always dance, but dance challenges became more popular. I think in 2019, before the pandemic, I didn't know a lot of people using TikTok, but I know like I would see ads for various dance, like what was that Dame Tu Casita song that I would always hear. And there's just so many random things. It was so weird and quirky. But like there could be saying any type of thing in these songs. And because like, you know, this is still a fun dance challenge, especially kids hopping on it, you have no idea what's really being like sort of spread. Fast Car. I definitely heard that song.
Mm-hmm. It's really pretty. But you got a fast car. I will take you. Like, I'll take you anywhere. Da, 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 da. Yeah. So, are we highlighting Vine? Oh, because we're talking about the history of like
Vine.
small
like dance. I was like how dance. I was saying basically the same way that like you hear songs you don't really know what they're saying, like on the radio, but like with apps like in that case Musically, now TikTok, there's a lot of songs where you might not really know what's being said, but because of this one catchy part of the song, you're gonna kind of sing along and do your dance routine to it. Like, what's the really popular one that's like I ain't never really been with a Betty. Something
Mhm.
Tally,
Oh,
medicine.
the tally.
Yeah, the tally. Yeah, and so it's like these very kind of like super popular rhythmic moments, but you have no idea what else the song is about. You might not even know who sings these songs, and so I don't know. Dance in some way can obscure like the actual. Not I wouldn't say obscure, but it can definitely cover up maybe um some of the songs or like I mean, what was it? Silento with the Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay. Pretty sure they were just found for like murder, like in this past year. So I'm like, I didn't know anything about Silento, but apparently there's not the most wholesome character. I don't know. I mean, innocent until proven guilty, but I think it was a pretty. I don't think there was much hope for them. I'm gonna look it up again, but I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy.
That caught off guard when that came out. What was that, last year maybe?
February last year. Wow.
That's
One person.
nuts.
I thought Silento was a group. Okay. Cool. Like I thought it was a duo, kind of like Ray Sremmerd. But yeah. So Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nene. And it did chart at number 3. That's pretty big. Yeah. From Georgia. Stone Mountain. Yeah, I've heard of Stone Mountain. That's one of the more rural areas.
Right outside of Atlanta.
Or suburb, yeah. Yikes. So I don't know. I mean, sometimes you can kind of like, if you can like make something viral enough, kind of get into the good conscious and psyche, you know, all your troubles might be wiped away, or people will remember your legacy will be not attached to maybe some of your own personal whatever's because you evoke such a good positive feeling. You know, many like dance parties and just like, you know, line dance type situations that are more wholesome than whatever personal activity. I mean, Bobby Shmurda, I mean, he's out now, of course, but like, he went to jail for some time. But everyone's gonna remember the Shmoney dance. And actually, there's 2 concerts. Perfect.
Amen.
One, which I just saw today, sold out. It's Kodak Black, French Montana, and Bobby Shmurda in Portland, Maine, which is probably an hour and a half from where I live, maybe 2 hours. Portland is not that close, actually. I've never been to Maine, and literally, like, I've been to towns in New Hampshire that are on the border of Maine, which is really sad. Including Hampton Beach, which is a pretty popular beach in New Hampshire. And so this concert's happening on October 8th, and I'm like, Bobby Shmurda is like right there, front and center, like he never was locked up. And I think there's an actual concert in Boston for Bobby Shmurda that's happening in November. It's only like $35 for basic seats, so I'm like, maybe I'll go.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not bad, especially for those 3 names. You know, like Kodak is like big again.
Oh no, this one sold out. This I imagine is going to be pretty expensive. This one especially, yeah, like you said, Kodak. He's whatever his personal scandals. I mean, he's pretty popular. Like he's put out a lot of hits over a lot of years, and he's pretty relevant. Like unlike French Montana, sorry, but French Montana. French Montana. I mean, he has hits and stuff, but I feel like he's always kind of like collabing with people, and he has a lot of stuff with people. I will say Unforgettable. I definitely love a lot, but Ray Sremmerd kind of carries the vocals there, or Sway Lee, I should say. But no, yeah, these artists, man, like, I think that's the trick is like, it's not just about making things viral, but like, you want to have good energy, music that you can like get up to and feel, and it kind of transcends the actual song itself, sometimes the lyrics. Because songs that maybe are otherwise not that noteworthy are really popular because there's like a really big kind of like viral dance component. And not to take away anything from these artists, like what's the song that always gets paired along with Bobby Shmurda's Hot Ninja? It's Ooh by Young Ma, Young M.A.
Oh,
Ooh, right? in that one big popular line, you call her Stephanie, I call her
Stephanie.
and you kind of do those money dance. So I feel like a lot of times it's like the culture and the dance that also helps carry some of these songs. Not always, but sometimes. Mo Bamba.
Mo Bamba.
I had no idea what the words were. Oh yeah,
Still kind of don't.
Okay.
I just jump with the crowd. Like, okay.
Oh man.
Genius. He did a video with Genius. Actually, I haven't watched those videos in a while, but I used to see those videos where the artist would actually be explaining the breakdown, and he was explaining the breakdown. And when it's like, I got hoes, call, and he's not talking about literal hoes. He's actually talking about industry, record labels, and how all these record labels are trying to sign him. And he's like, no, I don't want y'all. Y'all are these hoes. And so I was like, that's actually interesting because I wouldn't have known that. But you make it marketable. It sounds like a kind of regular party song, but he's actually kind of like what Chance was saying with no labels. One more, no, I can't even remember all the lyrics. You don't want no problem. No problem, actually, is what it's called.
I don't even know if I've heard that.
I've seen parts of that.
That's so funny. And
No, that's a thing.
Yeah, and there's a video that's the one I actually saw was someone cut it so that it had the beat of WAP, and Ben Shapiro was reading it, and I legitimately thought that was him actually doing that. I was like, I didn't know Ben Shapiro had this sense of humor. No, he had a regular video just reading the lyrics, which was really cringe. But then he put that like beat on it and like cut it so that the way he was reading it was going. That was actually
that's so funny. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Put it in Discord. Yeah, definitely.
Please do.
But man, I
didn't know that was a thing.
No, that's so awkward. That's so cringe. Because he's just doing it to like be like, this is bad. Yeah. Women aren't supposed to have wet pussies or something.
Like, I mean, he did say something along those lines of like, why would there be this much moisture? There's something I'd be calling a hospital for my wife or emergency. He literally said something along the lines of, I would call a doctor for my wife. And I'm like, how are you married? And listen, I'm not like necessarily come from people whether how sexually active you are in your relationships, but like, how could you like not have that much understanding of your wife's anatomy to not understand? I mean, he set himself up for the jokes of like, oh, well, clearly he doesn't know how to please his wife because, and I'm like, I wouldn't have gone for the joke like on my own, but you have to kind of, it's right there. It's literally right there. Like you don't understand wetness in that region, which we will talk about a lot next week.
He shot himself in the foot with that. Like that was, like why would you? It makes no sense as to where it's like, oh, that's concerning. It's like, first of all, obviously they're exaggerating. If you need a fucking bucket and a mop, and however, if they do need a bucket and a mop, then more power to them.
Seriously,
I feel like at their age, which are like they're like mid to late 20s, they would know by now. It's like, okay, they just got these WAPs and they're proud of it, and hey, more power to them. I ain't mad.
Listen.
But like that's so weird to critique. That's not what you should critique. And like, I feel like I don't cook, I don't clean would have been a better thing to critique about. Like of all the lines in the song, like he went and critiqued the wall.
That's the one that just stood out.
Yeah, like it's like what the heck? Like if he was gonna be like like I don't know, like to his crowd and be traditional, it's like, oh, she doesn't cook, she doesn't clean. It's like, okay, what like, but the fact that you okay, like okay.
Like, man, you clearly it shows you get zero.
You know, no, it's definitely interesting. Music and the culture and society in terms of like what are proper norms. Which actually does kind of go pretty well into next week's topic, which we will very much like. We've been like edging towards it and edging, no pun intended, but edging and hinting towards.
I'm too excited.
But you guys will definitely. It'll be a very lively discussion.
Oh yeah,
I think the way
lively.
The way the music does play into the psyche and sexuality is actually a very interesting thing, and how that's evolved over the years. Kind of like what you said, Elle, like people, maybe women are taking back sort of the power because of like. I mean, I have to listen to more of those like female dancehall songs because I know like there's some that like that I kind of like can in my head know the tune, but I don't fully know like what words are actually being said.
Right.
Like there's some old ones like Spice, it was pretty big there. More modern, you have like Shansia, Hood Celebrity. Stefflon Don is British, but I think she has some Caribbean ancestry.
Who? I was Stefflon Don.
Stefflon Don.
Isn't her mother Caribbean or?
Yeah, it's like I think she might be half. I don't remember if she was half or full or what, but I definitely like you would definitely have some female dancehall artists who are like they're trying to level the playing field. But then there's also older ones, right? Spice. I'm trying to remember some other really popular ones.
Yeah, so Stefflon Don is of Jamaican descent.
Okay, gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Then of course you have people who are. Because I know last week we were talking about like the music around the world, and like of course you had Nicki Minaj who was Trini. You have Rihanna being Barbados Asian, and then just more people. That was just like, wow, I didn't know you had this background. And so, but then you have like the people who were like really born and raised and who are still in the scene there. And I had to do more research to be honest, but it is definitely interesting. That it's like if the guys are gonna say all these things, and like and some of the lyrics are pretty wild. Like when I look up the lyrics of some of these guys, I'm like, wow, that's very ashamed of what you're saying.
And we just like normalized it, and then like women start saying it. They're like, "Hey, that's not nice.
It's not
this
nice.
isn't productive." You're fighting fire with fire. Like some kind of bullshit.
Gotta take the higher ground.
Take the
higher road.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, I'm gonna put a link to our Discord in the chat for anybody who's lurking. Also, Avery, you are more than welcome to join our Discord.
Yes.
Okay.
Join in the shenanigans off stream.
Yes. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll send you a link, or if you can somehow click on the link. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to see Ben Shapiro's WAP video, that I'm definitely going to watch.
I'm screaming.
Because I can feel the cringe coming within me. Like it's already like bubbling up inside, and I don't know if I can deal with it.
It's just the cultural full effect.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say it's Ben Shapiro. What could possibly go wrong?
It's definitely a culture war type thing. Like, I'm trying to think of like, I mean, of course, Cardi B is a big one. I'm trying to remember what video I saw or what post I saw that was talking about how like women are looking up to Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and City Girls, and this is the the moral leaders, then women are being misguided, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know if that's the reason why.
I'm like, that's a bit extreme.
That's not again. That's not the reason why there's like disparities or like.
And you have women who are like spitters who are not like in the mainstream too. That's always kind of interesting.
True.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they've been saying this kind of shit for like every single generation that ever existed ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's like
even Cardi B has gone out of her way to like highlight underground artists.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Fair.
And that's great. That's great. That's fucking fantastic. So there just comes a time when you can't do the right thing. Like you just never can. Like no matter what you try to do, it's like people are going to complain about something. I can never forget years ago. I don't know if I was listening to like E! News or something. I don't know what the fuck I was listening to, but like they were talking about Britney Spears and like something that she was doing, and it seemed to be like not, safe or like I don't know, something that she was doing, and I had something regarding like her kids. I don't know. I don't even know if the kids were. I don't know. And like the people who were like recounting the news were saying like, what is she like? This, she's not setting a good example for other mothers, like how, like who are they gonna look to for blah blah blah. And this, I'm like, people are really looking to Britney Spears for like how to parent. I'm not saying, like I'm not saying like she's a bad parent. Like I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying like, I don't know. I wouldn't think Britney Spears would be the first person who would come to mind if I had a child. No offense, Britney Spears, but like, she would definitely be probably somewhere in the top 100 of famous people. I'm thinking, she would be there, I guess. But it's like, what famous person is a mom? Like, so and so, this person. I don't know. I'm sure Britney Spears would cross my mind, but I don't know. Like, I find that odd, but I guess people do. I understand that we do emulate like music and like pop stars and things like that. Like that, drives style, slang. Just like like kind of like helps promote and push the culture. But I don't know. It's like, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be those extremes where people might like do like plastic surgery to try to look like these celebrities as closely as possible. And that's always going to like be a thing. But like I don't know if people are really out here just trying to look, I don't know, if like just trying to be them, like I do understand that like suicide rates, anxiety, and depression is up amongst like young teen or just young like middle school girls. It's at like an all-time high, but that's due mainly to social media. It's mainly due to just trying to kind of, it's more so like our peers and just having to deal with them 24/7 rather than the 7 hours you are at school, 6-7 hours you're at school. So, and also just the social media algorithm and the addiction that it plays in. Whereas, back in the day, just watching E! News or like BET or MTV, it wasn't as extreme because it wasn't like constant and like constantly being like fed to you. I guess I say all that to say, like, every generation is going to have like its thing. I'm not saying that it's something to just kind of push under the rug, so to speak. But it's not, it's not as bad as like that, like it just seems like they're using the same fear words, like, like the same words to kind of just to like ring alarm that they did since like Elvis was like shaking his hips. And it's like, I'm not saying that there isn't an issue. There's definitely an issue. It's mainly pointed towards like social media and also just, I don't know, being able to communicate with, like the younger folks. Like, but yeah, like I wouldn't say it's like celebrities talking about how wet their pussy gets. Like, like that's not like, it's like that's not where like humanity is. That's not how humanity is going into the gutter. I guess, like, to put it succinctly, like what people are singing about, no, like what people are actually doing and how social media and the internet and things like that are affecting us. Yes, that's. So even the people in your personal life will disappoint you from time to time, and they actually care about you. So the chances of a complete stranger meeting our expectations is even smaller. That's a great point, Rocky. What fear words do you mean? Like, it's like, oh, this is teaching our young girls a bad lesson. It's teaching our girls to be sluts. It's like, it's pretty much like, oh, it's teaching our girls to go to the, work on the pole, not for like voting, but at the strip club. Making our girls work the poles. Like, it's not a good thing. But like, it's like we need more volunteers.
Right.
Yeah. Like things like that. Like, just trying to make girls just like the pole, not the pole. So like words like that, like, oh, teaching, like, yeah, like those like those pretty much those fear words, like even back in like like the 90s and the 2000s, where girls were just like shaking their ass on TV and like like in rap music videos, video vixens, and like that sort of thing. Like I was thinking this the other day, like that was like for like representation reasons, like that was kind of like, aside from like like the black movies and like the black like sitcoms, you'd see like the black women like shaking their ass in the music videos. And I was like thinking, like, in terms of like representation wise, I'm like, is that why I want like a banging body? Did that like affect me? Because like I always thought it'd be like, because like you want to look like that, because then you get the guy. Just like how, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, and I could just speak for everybody. Like, I'm just speaking for myself here. Like, you just sort of see that, and you're like, oh, I was never really ashamed of my body, like, so to speak. But like, it was just sort of like, oh, this is like something. Like, maybe if I look like this, and maybe I can get the guy or something. I don't know where I'm going with this, because I wasn't really like, I guess it was just sort of like, oh, if I look like them, then things would be better. But I wasn't like super obsessed with that, if that makes sense. It's not like I was, it's not like I'd like cry myself to sleep. It would just be like, oh, okay, like they're aesthetically pleasing to men, so this is maybe something to, I don't know, shoot for. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to think, like, what could I have possibly been thinking when I was like 9-10 years old? Like when I would see like these, it's like, how was I even like really thinking? It's like I can't really like deduce that.
Yeah, it's probably more unconscious than anything, right?
Right. Yeah. It's like, I guess you can just sort of Like it's like but you don't know why you know.
Mm-hmm.
This was probably something
Mm-hmm.
like that. I have no idea what I was because I never really had like I guess like extreme like body dysmorphia, like I was never the type to like constantly look in the mirror and be like, oh no, if I just look like this, like no, like that wasn't really me. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess I have to, I don't know, ask my 9-year-old self, like what did that mean to you? Ask my inner child,
Right.
like what the hell was I thinking about? I
Right.
don't know.
But
I don't know.
to your point too, L, it does play a. I would say it plays a role, but later on down in life, especially as puberty hits, especially are going into middle school and high school, especially high school in particular, because now it's like, okay, you girls that you that they've developed at a more so very mature rate. And so
Mhm.
when you look at the music videos and you see these video vixens, a lot of the times, a lot of the schoolgirls could have been a video vixen if they so desired to do so. And
Mhm.
even then, when you're talking about like how most guys are basically, I wouldn't say attracted to women, but more so like they like women that have like that nice shape, that nice figure where it's pleasing to the eyes. Where it's like, okay, I don't mind me being around her for X amount of time. And even if I get the chance, to get to get her digits, we talk and then we end up smashing afterwards, cool, great. And so now it's like, okay, again, girl. Now she's like, oh, okay. If I want to attract, let's say, the starting football quarterback for whatever, whether it's junior varsity, varsity, or freshman, if I look like I could be a member of that without actually being on a cheerleading squad, I might get that person's attention. And even
Oh.
then, with the music videos as they're coming out, especially how they're dressing provocative and how they're moving in a way where guys walking one way, she walks past him, he just kind of turns around, and is like, oh wow, dang, she's actually attractive now, like maybe I want to get to know her stuff. And so it does play a very huge role. Even I could tell you when I was going to high school, oh yeah, very much so, very much so, because the majority of the girls was either wearing Jordans, Forces, um yeah, Jordans and Forces. Majority of the
Right. Yeah.
girls, they were wearing Jordans, Forces. They were also wearing like the top brand of, as far as clothing wise go. They were wearing that, so they were very up to date with the fashion. You coupled them looking very mature for their age, meaning that they had small waist, wide hips, a nice size chest, nice, slender, athletic kind of a build. Now it's like, okay, I remember going to school with you. You had nothing to offer. Fast forward, now you have everything plus something to offer. I'm gonna try to shoot my shot. And if I land, cool, great. And if I don't, okay, cool, great. I'm gonna try the next person, and the next person, the next person. So now it's just it develops into something a lot more hurtful in a way, because instead of like taking the time to know the person, you're just more
Mhm.
so looking at everything face value and not necessarily going deeper than that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, looks like Toby's internet went out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, I mean these are like what we're talking about is definitely going to be good for next month's topic for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Excited,
for sure.
Avery?
I'm excited.
Yes.
It seems like October is gonna be a stacked one.
More ways than none.
Stacked. Yeah. Now it's cuffing season for you colder climate people. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it now? The drafting season. I don't even keep up, but it's like a drafting season, a preseason, and then the season starts whenever later this winter.
Mm-hmm.
that is crazy. That's like a thing. Like it's like you find someone to keep you warm because you're gonna be like I guess because you guys are gonna be like inside a lot. Whereas like I could just go to the beach on Christmas. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
you know?
I can surf waves and be in 60, 70 degree weather on Christmas.
Yeah, like 70, 80. But like
Yeah.
oh man, if it got to the 60s, that'd be exciting. It would probably get to the 60s. It might.
Maybe
Christmas?
January.
Yeah, probably like January. It might do that. I do enjoy the yearly, like 2-week cold front we get in October randomly. That's my favorite season. So
How cold does it get? Like 50s or?
South Florida rarely. Like that like 50 degrees might be like early morning.
Jeez.
For like, and then it might shoot up to like the 60s and 70s. I feel like the low 70s might be like the hottest it gets in like the cold months. It might be like low 70s. Sometimes like it just stays kind of chilly for like a long time, and that could be kind of aggravating. But it's not like I don't like the cold. Well, I don't, but I like when it's cool. So when it's like 70s is perfect. Like 74, 75 is great. Once it starts to get to the 60s, I'm like,
You're like, turn it back.
yeah, like turn it back. Let's see who's been on the use. I was just telling my aunt that imagining fairy tales are worse for kids' development than a lot of. That's true, because fairy tales just be lying to you.
Mm-hmm.
And deceiving.
I know, like it definitely just like teaches, especially young girls, that it's like you get married and then they live happily ever after, and it's like that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they got married and they continued working on their marriage, and
Yeah.
there was like a lot of
Afterwards.
like a lot of growing pains, and like Prince Charming got an alcohol addiction because he lost his job, and and it's like, well, Cinderella or was it Sleeping Beauty? Wasn't expecting that. Now she's
right.
Yeah, but it's true.
Who could have prepped them for that?
Like they put so much pressure on us to get married. Like I'm starting to just kind of like, I don't know, like that fantasy is definitely dying, or just becoming more realistic rather. It's like your childhood is dying. Like Santa Claus isn't real, kind of thing. And it's just like, I gotta face the reality of like, my future husband's. Hopefully he's great, Hopefully he just doesn't suck.
Agreed. Agreed.
It's like hopefully when I talk, he listens. You know.
I'll say if come the wedding day, if he's a jerk, I will punch him on the altar. No ifs, ands, buts about it.
Okay, good.
No questions asked. None.
Listen,
whatsoever.
Jesus ain't gonna stop that.
Nope. Pow.
Boom.
Straight right here. Like, nah, I think you full of crap, sir.
No, like I don't know if it's just internet algorithms or whatever, but like I follow on Reddit the I am the asshole or am I the asshole subreddit where people like say things. It's like, hey, you know, my husband or like my husband to be or my fiance like doesn't want my dad to be in the wedding, even though like my dad and I have a great relationship. Nothing's really wrong. It's just, you know, like these things that my husband is bothered about or something or feel. And it's like I think I read that just today. And it's like, don't marry this guy who doesn't want your dad in the wedding when you have a great relationship with your dad. Like,
yeah.
That's so
right.
That's weird. That's like weird energy.
I know.
Then you're rejecting a part of your fiance.
Right. Like, I can understand if, you know, father was kind of like in and out the picture. Okay, right. I could kind of get that. But if father has been there from day one up until now, it's like, dude, you're going to have to deal with him regardless if you want to or not. Because even if he's not in the wedding, you still got to deal with him after the wedding. So you might as well deal with him now during the wedding, because after the wedding, he might shoot you. He just might. You never know. Yes. I woke up and chose violence. Yes, I did.
Chose violence.
Yes, I ain't choose violence. I chose violence.
When you marry the person, you marry the family too.
Yep. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
And I think like the father raised like her and like their sister, because I think the mother died early or something. So he was like us. From what it sounded like he was a stand-up dad. So I'm like,
yeah,
you know,
I think bro got
good
some
luck.
insecurity
Good
issues.
luck to the man. That's all I could say.
No job.
Good luck to the wife. I don't know. I just hear like, and sometimes I see some crazy shit even like on my social media feed of like people that I know. And like you were just okay with this marriage? Like that just seems massively disrespectful. Like what? Like some things that I see and like it's like I want to be cool with that person. If you're cool with it, that's fine. Mm-hmm. I just wouldn't be, you know. Like, but you know, teach their own. Just
to each behold their zone.
To each behold their zone. I've never heard that.
So
I like that.
First time hearing it.
I like it.
First time hearing it.
It's like the eye of the beholder, right? Sort of.
To each behold their zone. But I feel like I feel like that's like to each behold their zone. It's like definitely like hold on, like keep your boundaries up. That's how I kind of interpreted it. Behold your zone, to each behold your zone. I dig it. I like it a lot.
God.
Thank you.
Boundaries. The boundaries, man, that will get you.
This part right here. Yep.
If family's a big deal to you, then maybe you are.
Very true.
If some people could hear that.
No, it's true. Some families could be assholes too. And like, it's very true. It is very true.
When you say family is a big deal to you, are you saying like if the fiance's family is a big deal, like if that's like a deal breaker, or you mean like if family?
I would say like if you're a family oriented person and like your family is crucial in the say of like your relationship.
Yeah, I know I've seen people who talk about that where it's like people. I remember I think it was like on Twitter or something like these men aren't ready. Like if he's like prioritizing his mom over you, like he's not ready for a serious relationship or like not ready to get engaged or married. I don't know. It's interesting because it's like
It really depends. Like, you know, like there's so many like anecdotal like reasons or like, you know, situations that can really just change, you know, your perception of certain things. You know, like I used to believe like, oh, if you know, if my partner cheats on me, I'm leaving them. And then like as I got older, it's like if I was with my partner for like 5 years and then like they cheated on me one time and like they came and confessed, yeah, of course I'd be like fucking pissed out of my mind. Like, you know, it would be really enraging, but like I don't know, to just up and like leave them, you know, like it's not as easy as it sounds because like okay, now I gotta like piece out his family as well, you know, whom I probably spent like, you know, several holidays with. I gotta like piece out his friends, you know, who, you know, I probably became good friends with and all. Like it's not as easy as a thing. And also it's like you still love him, you still love the person. So it's like you still have to like kind of like figure it out. I would need to get along with my family. Not so much my siblings. Like, I'm like, he doesn't have to. I think.
JK.
JK. That's real. That's real.
Like,
that's real love.
I can't from a place of hurt. No, but I think what Elwood you're saying too about like oh crap. Like I definitely lost it. Like you were just talking about like the family and
like if he loves his mom more than
cheating.
Yeah.
I think the thing that got me was about like if he does cheat, whatever. Now, a good friend of mine or a friend recently became friends with this one person, but like you know we've been connected on social media since like sometime earlier summer, and we eventually met up at a concert about 2 weeks ago, and so yeah, we just had a good conversation afterwards, and she was talking about how like you know she had been cheated on, but like with that guy. She isn't really into him that much, right? So she wasn't really into him anyway. So like, and she was easily able to cut it off. In some other cases where something happened, and it was like, no, it's not okay. I think another case was more of like an abuse, like not even physical, but like they were long distance, and they had somehow with the phone. Person was abusive, threatening to like be physical, and it's like, okay, no, that's done immediately. So I think like for her, it ended up being kind of an easy, quick cutoff, where it's like, nope, you're good. Like do that. Get out. But when you have a much deeper attachment where like of course if you're married, oh my god, but also, even if you're engaged, if it's like you've been really close and then the person cheats or the person does something that is like manipulative or abusive, then you're like, oh wow, what do you do? Right. And it ends up being harder than just like it's not as obvious, right, to just say, oh, leave, obviously, haha, but because it's like there's a lot more human emotions and dynamics involved.
For sure. Like it could be like oh sorry.
No, I was literally just like, it resonated. You're good.
Oh, right. Like, because it could be like, you know, like definitely like money could be a reason why you can't leave, at least like not immediately. You know, there's a lot of like all sorts of things. Like, so funny enough, like I know that you guys haven't watched Insecure. Avery, have you watched the show Insecure?
I haven't.
Yeah. It's like everyone should watch that show. Like, it got like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think, the entire series.
Nice.
But it's Issa Rae, so like you can never go wrong.
Right, but you went wrong by not watching it though. but I'm kidding. But I don't know if this is spoilers because like you find this out by like episode like 3 or 4 of the first season. But Issa, the main character, she cheats on her longtime boyfriend. and like they were together for 5 years. But you know, like if you ask like any woman, like, you know, because like like her boyfriend Lawrence, you know, like they break up because of that, because she cheated on him, and she kind of like, well, yeah. So, but like, if anybody, like, if you ask any woman who watches the show, they would have been like, yeah, I don't know why he got so much into his ego. They've been together for 5 years. Like, it was clearly a mistake. She's clearly really fucking sorry. Like, if this was the other way around, you know, like the woman, like, you know, like the woman probably would have stayed, and it kind of kept it moving. You know, like all the men would be like, oh, come on, yeah. But like, because the girl cheated on the guy, like guys are like on Twitter, they were all like Team Lawrence. Like they were all like, oh, he didn't do anything wrong. I was like, well, he pretty much like forgot her, didn't do anything for her birthday. He has been unemployed for like 2 years. She's been holding it down, you know, for like 2 out of the 5 years of the relationship. You know, like he keeps saying he's going to start a business and he doesn't start. Like he is, you know, like he's just like sitting around in sweatpants all day and not really doing anything.
Are they gray? Are they gray sweatpants at least?
Yeah, like, yeah, that's not, he's not doing that for me. But anyway, I'm kidding. but yeah, like, and nothing is really happening. Like, there's no, I don't know if like they're even having like sex as often, but like she kind of like expresses her like her grievances to her best friend Molly. Like she even says like, I really like, sometimes I wish like he would just get like really angry and just like slap me in a fit of passion, just to do something, just to like, just so there's like some sort of emotion, just to show like there's some sort of like care, even though that's not right. I don't, you know, never fucking do that. But like she just wanted to just know that there's like, I guess, life in the relationship, like some sort of passion. And it's just funny how, I don't know, guys just tend to forget that. It's like, yeah, he didn't cheat on her. I guess like what guys would be like, he didn't do anything wrong. It's like, no, he didn't do anything. He wasn't doing anything. Mm-hmm. And that's not okay. Doing nothing isn't okay.
Agreed.
So
agreed.
You know, like, yeah, it sucks that she cheated on him. That wasn't the right thing to do. But like, I could see why she did that. It's like I like when I put myself in her shoes, I'd be like, I probably would have done the same thing. Not gonna lie, I probably would have done the same thing. So
I mean, that's just real. You know, it takes work to build a relationship, and if you don't intentionally put into work to continuously bring life to the relationship, it's going to fade, whether you want it to or not. It is.
Mm-hmm. And I agree, Rocky. Like that wasn't a healthy relationship. It's sort of odd to call it toxic. Like if you actually watch the show, it's very slice of life. It's just a slice of life show. You know, like nothing crazy happens. You know, it's not like drama filled. It's not like what's gonna happen next. It's just slice of life. But it's done, you know, very funny. It's incredibly well written, and like it's just very relatable. It's just very real. So I guess because I feel like the word toxic is so like heavy of a word, at least in my opinion. It just sounds like, it's like, was it really like toxic? And I'm like, but I guess it kind of was. It definitely wasn't healthy. You know, if you want to use toxic in that way, like it definitely wasn't a healthy relationship. It's just like they were sort of just existing together. And I think Lawrence, you know, the boyfriend, just, I guess he was content, but like yeah, like if you like, everyone should definitely just like watch the show because I was rewatching it with a friend the other day, and I was just like, man, this is a fantastic series. Like I already knew it was like a great series, but like having watched it in its completion and like rewatching it, I was like, this is like a complete show. Like it didn't like end badly. It didn't like like it didn't seem like there was anything like really missing or like it's just a well constructed, produced, created show, and it's not often you see that. So I feel like maybe like the last show I really saw that just seemed like just really well constructed was probably Breaking Bad. Like that was just like a well constructed like show. But like I'd say Insecure is much better, at least in my opinion. But this is probably because I'm biased. Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to go back to with
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, go ahead. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, because oh man, I mean, this of course was national news, but also like very local here in Boston, or at least in 20 minutes outside of Boston. So like, I know people have sounded off a bit. I've heard some different takes on this. I mean, me personally, I don't like it as involved with a lot of like the celebrity and kind of stuff. Like, it's not good, of course. And there's like, then I feel like a lot of people. I didn't even know about Adam Levine. Maybe I've heard that he was cheating on pregnant wife. That's crazy. She knew what. And then I know I've heard of I just heard something today. The Fly Guys or some guy, some group, some YouTube show that I didn't even know existed. They, I guess, I don't know. It was like one of the people in the show. He cheated on his, like in the YouTube series, he had cheated on. I guess they do the cooking and do challenges and dares and different stuff. But apparently, he had a consensual relationship with one of the staffers or something. And so he was like, he getting kicked off. He said that he was a wife guy. Like I have to remember who this was and what the group was.
The Try Guys.
Try Guys, thank you.
Yeah.
The Try Guys and Ned from the Try Guys, and I guess he's a wife guy. I didn't even know all this stuff. Like there's all this terminology I had to like look up. A wife guy is someone who gets famous because of your wife.
Wow.
Barack Obama. And so like he literally had a consensual consensual workplace relationship, and he was married with kids, and I'm just like, what the heck is happening? I mean, this has always happened, but it's just like a lot of news and a little too close of a span. And Nia Long, I've heard of her. I think she has a sister, I think, and they've done like broadcasts together, sort of like they both kind of work in media. Or I might be thinking of two other black.
Nia Long is an actress. She's been in like so many black movies.
She's been an actress since the early 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love and Basketball. It goes on and on. She's been in so many.
Yeah, she was in Fresh Prince. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. She was in Best Man. She was in Love and Basketball.
I see. No, okay. I definitely Beyonce Emrata Behati. What celeb cheating scandals say? Unfortunately, like you look her up, one of the first articles is about what's cheating scandals say, and here's a whole list of women who have been cheated on. Yeah, I was thinking of someone else, this black anchor in the ESPN whose sister also works in.
I know you're talking. You're thinking of Malika Andrews.
Yeah, you said Malika Andrews.
She's an ESPN host for the midday show called NBA Today, and her sister is a reporter for the Golden State Warriors.
There it is. I love that. Thanks, man. Because I really was like, that's what in my mind I had thought who they were talking about, just because of like industry. But no, completely was off. But in any case, like, yeah, it's obviously very unfortunate. Some people have had takes where it's like they're like, you know, this is persecution of black men, which is a bit of a stretch. I think it's interesting that like, yeah, maybe this can't, but I feel like this could happen for anyone. Anyone who cheats and like does some impropriety gets outed like this. But I know like I don't remember if it was Stephen A. Smith. It might have been Stephen A. Smith actually, and I mean he's big in the NBA, right? As a whatever broadcaster, I guess. I think he was going in about like, oh yeah, they'll do this. He's like, why couldn't this have been? He was like, why couldn't this have been local? Why couldn't this have just been between, whatever? But someone had to leak it nationally. It had to be about a black man. So I think he had that take. Other people have had similar takes. I mean, he was passionate, but his wasn't going as far as like, this is like black people persecution, witch hunt. But I think they did say that the fact that someone leaked this, like it was very vengeful, or it was like they aired it out instead of keeping this local.
I thought I heard about that. Just him commenting from that perspective.
Yeah. And I mean, sure, like you could argue that. I definitely don't defend it that he's out here having an affair, or like cheating, because I think they were dating. But still, like, I definitely don't defend it. And I don't know, like I didn't realize it became such a big thing. But I guess also because this guy, I don't know how new he is on the Celtics, but his popularity blew up, especially after this last season. I mean, the Celtics really were holding it down. They were at one point leading like 2-1, I think, with the Warriors in that series. And so, like, they of course lost, like, I think 2 losses, 4 wins on the Warriors. But like, yeah, he was really like his name had blown up. And I'm pretty much a casual. I don't really even follow most of the stuff, but I knew who this guy was. Plus, I don't want to butcher where he's from, but he's definitely African too. So I think that was like an interesting angle that had been brought up, not with this cheating, but like just beforehand, like they were going into his life story a bit. So maybe it's also because he when your status rockets and then you do something wrong, it's like that the term milkshake duck, where it's like the duck is drinking a milkshake, everyone loves it, and then it turns out they're actually racist and the neo-Nazi. Well, there goes your popularity. So I feel like that's what ended up happening partially, right? It's like he was given this kind of golden boy status, and then turns out he actually cheated. And so unfortunately, I'm not saying it's human nature for the cheating, but to like kind of build these people up and then tear them down when you find the sort of flaw.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have had much more to say, like, of anything. I mean, maybe the people locally in Boston who really follow could kind of say something, but the fact this becomes such a big national thing was like, oh, wow, okay.
It just blew up into this debacle, kind of.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel apparently he's suspended for like the entire basketball season coming up.
What?
Okay.
Which I thought was really extreme.
Right.
Really extreme punishment. I think it could have been some games and a fine and keep it moving. But to say the whole season, especially when they just built chemistry and made it to like you said, Toby, the basketball championship round. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's
that is.
I think I had heard news about suspension. I didn't realize it was the whole upcoming season. That's a lot. That's a lot. And it's sad too, because like, as I've told some people, this is like my last round that I'm doing in Boston before most likely moving back to the DMV in this upcoming May when my lease ends. And so I haven't been to a Celtics game. I've actually never been to any professional basketball game, but I would want to go to a Celtics game. And not like I'm really going to be like, oh my God, look, it's Coach. He may be whatever, but like it would be different, just right, to be like, okay, this is a different team now, right, with different coach, different dynamics, versus the same coach, the same team that just went to the championship games. And I mean, in terms of the consequences, yeah, like there's some pretty serious things, right? If you're talking about harassment, sexual assault, like even going further with the rape and things, yeah, that point. That is like a real case to be made for like, we don't tolerate that at all. It's not okay to have an affair to cheat, but it's interesting that ends up punishing the whole team, right? Like, yeah, because of the poor sort of personal choices that he made is now, I don't know, is it because people feel like that he wouldn't be able to coach the team, or that he wouldn't be able to have the respect of his players? I mean, a fictional parallel.
It's maybe just, maybe it's trying to avoid the friction between the staff and the coach, I don't know, because you need the whole organization during the course of a season. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean that's you might be trying to like get yourself out, give yourself an out with some of the with that friction that could happen. Now, the thing I was about to say about that was like well, it'll come back to me. It was on that same point. I feel like I think I was just gonna say the fictional parallel was kind of like, and there was real friction in this. To your point, Avery, but All American, of course, that's football, right? But fantastic show. If you haven't watched All American or All American Homecoming, I wouldn't even watch them if I didn't have friends at my apartment last year in the summer, like end of summer into the fall, who were watching it, and I started seeing it season 2. So I went back, watched season 1, saw up through season 3, then season 4 dropped on Netflix. I also found other places to watch it. I had to hop around on some Google Play, on some Amazon Prime, trying to get as many free episodes as I could with the credits I had. But then eventually it all dropped on Netflix, so I ended up watching it this past summer, like really like June, July, maybe into August, and then I watched Homecoming. But the point is, like, you know, spoiler, I guess, for those who've not seen it, but you find out like the main, you know, one of the main characters, like the main coach, Taye Diggs, right? He had an affair. But this was in the past, so it's not like something that happens in real time, but it happened years ago, but it got covered, right? And there was a lot of tension and a lot of friction. I mean, his son, who, you know, was the quarterback, and so like he was using it to his advantage because he was really angry, and he was able to kind of manipulate his dad into guilting him and letting him have a little bit more control over the team. But like, you know, is that gonna happen? They're high schoolers, you know, that's like high school football. And it's not like the whole team was like losing respect for him, as far as I could tell. It was mostly just his like children. I mean, his son in this case for the team. And so like, yeah, you can. And then I think even All American Homecoming, I won't spoil it, but like, there's definitely an issue with some of the coaches and the students. I mean, there's some good chemistry, but then there's some things that are revealed later, and there's some breakdown of team. But usually you push through, and it's not like it was directly related in this case. Well, he hadn't. I don't know who he cheated. Oh yeah, most likely it was a staffer, right? Someone on the. So I mean, that of course could be a problem too. I don't know if they're gonna be like, let go, because it's like, why are you messing with the I don't know, but I feel like there could have been other outs that could have been like, let's sit down and hash this out. Is it going to go to the level of like TV drama? I don't know if it was going to do all that. Is it going to be like a distraction forever every time his name is mentioned? I don't know. I mean, Robert Kraft, didn't he literally almost go to jail for like a prostitute? And did he lose his ownership of the team? I don't think he did. Maybe he did.
He did it,
but he didn't. And like, and then he ended up being
the owner of I think the Patriots. Actually.
Patriots, exactly, right here in my backyard. So it's like. I remember one comment that I saw, one of the top comments that I saw when that news broke on Instagram. It's like Robert Kraft fell in love with a thotty. Fell in love with a thotty. I was like, yo. But no,
I just caught on to that. I just caught on to that.
Like, you just found out about it, or you just caught what I said?
What you just said?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that was I feel like I've heard that phrase, and of course, fell in love with a stripper is always a thing. But I don't know, like, people kind of move on from that, right? I'm trying to think of other examples that are more similar, where it's like an actual. I mean, I don't know. Was Robert Kraft married? He might have been, and so I don't know. That's what all I have to say about it. Is it's very unfortunate how it happened. I agree with you that it didn't have to go to that level of punishment, but. I don't know. Maybe it'll be reversed. Maybe the new coach will have good chemistry. They'll figure it out. Oh my God! Yes.
I'm glad you touched on it, Rocky. When you have people like Brett Favre in cases like that aren't being as covered on a national scale.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. Like, I'm actually really glad that you said this here, and I'm gonna take a quick screen grab too, because it's such a real point. It's like, all right, not great what happened, but like there's so much more that's going on. And similar, like, you know, like that's corruption, right? Corruption um and sort of like yeah, there's a lot going on, and people are being civilly charged, but hopefully it ends up rising to criminal level. The Brett Favre case, because I think the investigator was fired in Mississippi, and I try not to be like, oh, all these states, like screw these states, because like there are, you know, there's levels to this, right? I think Mississippi though has shown itself over and over again as like failed completely in leadership. The Supreme Court overturned the medical marijuana like referendum, which passed like 75% in 2020. They approved medical marijuana. The Supreme Court overturned that like last year, and they overturned the ballot initiative process. So that's a whole FU to democracy right there. And now this, and so it's like, yikes, you know. I try not to stereotype some of these states, but I feel like Mississippi has like really shown itself leadership, at least in the institutional sort of very, you could just say like racist or racially charged decisions being made, of course, with Jackson, Mississippi. It's just terrible all around. Like, you know, really have to pray for the people and just, you know, hope that they can get better leadership, better people, and that hopefully there are some charges that get dropped in this case. But I hope it really works for them. Yeah.
The owner and a billionaire. Nothing was ever going to happen to him.
It's so sad how true this is, though.
Yeah,
Like,
real.
the guy who would penalize him literally works for him.
Yeah.
Money talks in a capitalistic society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we're going to have to participate in this capitalistic society tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All us here over on the East Coast. I mean, for Rocky, it's like 9 o'clock for him, so he's like still chilling. But you know, he's like, he like just finished dinner kind of thing.
We're on the late night snack, midnight candle burning type thing.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna have to, you know, see y'all next week. We're gonna have to run.
Yes, indeed.
But as you all know, each month we have a new topic, and next Tuesday is a new month. So that means we have a new topic. And I just have to say that next month is going to be pretty hot.
Just like you, right?
Like me?
Hot.
I'm hot? Okay, thank you.
We gotta set the temperature.
Come on, Sean Paul.
Right.
Actually, I wanted to ask you real quick, Avery, because I don't want to be wrong on it, but I feel like your background is it West Indian too?
No, actually, Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone.
Directly your parents.
Yeah.
Wow.
From my mother's side. Still figuring out my dad's side. I actually want to go take a DNA ancestry. So, but all I know is Sierra Leone so far.
Okay, cool. No, only because in my head I had Kemen thinking that it was like Barbados or something from West Indian, and I was like that low key played in as well with some of the topic, and I was completely off this whole time. I didn't even know you were West African, just like moi. That's cool. Learn a new thing or two. But any case,
But
Thank
I might be. Never say never.
Hey,
Never say never.
take that
There
DNA
you go.
test. Get back to us. Get back to me. Figure it out. No, but that's super cool though. And I appreciate you coming on here. You see how late we be
Yes.
rolling. So this is like marathon, almost 3 hours. Definitely one of the longer ends. Sometimes it's like barely 2 hours, and we're like, all right, we're done. But here it's like just 5 minutes away from 3 hours. You gotta love it.
Man,
Gotta
listen,
love
that's
it.
not gonna
And
be
thank you guys
easy.
for having me too.
Oh, thank you so much
This was
for
cool.
coming, for joining us. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And as we always say, once a guest, always a guest. You know, you're always welcome back. If not literally, physically here, always can tune in, chime in on the chat. We have the Discord.
Mm,
We always love our guests and our general
yes.
audience because you guys make the show what it is.
Hey,
Yes.
Hey.
I'll definitely be in the chat next week for sure.
Hey. Nah,
Yeah. No, awesome.
Right. And
And then,
one
share
last.
with friends. Yeah.
And before we go, shout out to the 7 viewers on Twitch. We see you lurking in the shadows. Thank you for pulling up. Even if you don't say a word, just because of the fact that you pulled us up, hey, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Twitch
Love.
stream blew up out of nowhere.
Hey.
Hey, oh, I thought you would.
Yeah, you came back.
You came back. Appreciate
Yeah.
you. Bro.
All right.
Yeah, next week is going to be a good time. So please come through,
Yes.
let your friends know. We're going to be out here talking about. Like, I already said it though. So, well, she actually, you didn't say the name of the topic, but you said what the actual month means and how for you the weather is like barely affecting this because it's so hot in Florida.
No.
But it is cuffing season.
As the kids say in other states, it's cuffing season.
Up
I don't
here,
think anybody says that down here. We
that's
say it like
Oh.
jokingly.
That's actually so
Yeah.
funny.
I never really hear that come up in conversation. Like maybe I'm just in wrong conversations, or maybe no one wants to cuff
This
me.
In different spaces.
Yeah. But yeah, no, definitely y'all tune in next week. Our topic
Yes.
is, I guess, like cuffing season. So yeah.
Yeah. And good luck with your cuffs, ladies and gentlemen. Come back with us beginning of the month. As you said, drafting season also. Thank you for that because we're gonna really work that into the whole concept of a roster and your first picks, your bench, and who you're starting. I was just like not approving.
There's
Oh,
a calendar
man.
too for this.
There's
If
a
I
calendar.
find it, I'm gonna put it on
Yeah.
the Discord. There's a calendar though. It says like September 1st through a certain date for the drafting, and then scouting, and then preseason. It's a whole calendar in detail.
Because Valentine's Day is like championship day, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go into the spring and summer.
Oh
you
yeah.
know, hot girl style, I guess.
That's true. That's like the preseason, or not even the preseason, but like the off season. Maybe it's like the.
I love it.
That's amazing, actually. I have to find that calendar and post it. I'm gonna find it and post it in the Discord and be like, so here's some homework for next week.
So if you're in it, I guess try and win it. I guess that's all I could say.
I love it.
Alrighty, y'all.
Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone in the chat.
Yes.
Everyone viewing. We love y'all. We'll see you next week.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out. Peace.
Bye.